All right, everybody, we've got an outstanding show tonight. Everybody, sit down, please. You know, Biggie's right there in the chat. Biggie's saying it's about time. Audience, if the audience will sit down, Biggie, maybe we can actually get started. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. We got a hell of a show tonight, guys. And I got to be honest with you, every week I'm super excited to do this show. But the fact that I have this panel together tonight and the fact that so much news has come out in the past 48 hours, actually some news broke in the past 48 minutes. So it's just been awesome. It's amazing that Fridays are this on fire, no pun intended. That being said, guys, let me say this. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell down there so you don't forget when Mooch goes live. Guys, we have an amazing amount of people that have been supporting the channel, and I want to say thank you to each of them. Right above the description, you see the join button. It's how you become a member of the channel, and these guys have been with me, and you guys becoming part of the Mooch Maniac family, it just means the world to me. So let me just call all these guys out and say thank you to Sir X-Man, Masshole 1977, Midway Monster, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Ben Link, a new member that just joined literally 10 minutes ago, Sean Slampka. Appreciate Sean joining. Our major Mooch Maniacs, Lucifer, Brian B, a.k.a. Delirium Bleeds, VIP Mooch Maniacs, the great Marty Bison is back on top there, Rich Kreischer, Rated D Demonic, Biggie, the great Biggie 2316, Doggy Dog 420, and Percolator 9000, and our honorable mention, always the great Wilmy Hood. Appreciate everything Wilmy does for the community and the channel, and our forever Mooch Maniac who will forever be in our hearts, Longshot 316, and we've had 2 super chats already, and I appreciate it. Game Noob says, with what Phil's been saying as of late, what are the chances Xbox first-party studios go multi-plat in the next 2 years? We'll get their game news. That's definitely coming up. And shout out to the great Doggy Dog 420 says, the super chat's working. Thank God. Try it out. It's great. Absolutely, Doggy Dog. Thank you for your support over the years, too. Guys, let me introduce this unbelievable panel. And trust me, these guys are extremely opinionated on tonight's subjects. Let me start with the one, the only, Crap Gamer. Crap, it's great to have you tonight. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. It's going to be a good show.
It's going to be a great show. I love it.
It's going to be great.
Don't let Crap's monotone voice fool you. He's full of energy tonight. Trust me.
I've got a lot of energy, guys. Trust me.
I can't wait.
Crap's been kicking chickens ever since he thought about the new Fable that they're about to show in July. So
Yeah, well, I am excited about that. True. That's very true.
You seem very excited, Crap. I can't wait. I just can't wait till our first topic. I can't wait.
There's a lot to talk about, so it should be interesting. So.
Absolutely. And just shout out to our newest Mooch Maniac member, unbelievable VIP, Butcher Van. It's great to have the Butcher back. Van, it's awesome to have you here. Thank you for that support, brother. It means so much. The great Butcher Van, unbelievable. Awesome to have him here. I've got a guy from Connecticut. I'm not kidding you. If we were doing live cam right now, he'd look like one of those weathermen with the stop signs flying past him. It's the great Xbot 448. Xbot, how the hell are you doing tonight?
What's going on, brother? Yo, you are not lying, man. I'm watching the trees like almost bend in half right now, yo. For people who don't know, I live right on the shore
by the beach.
Yo, and we're right in the middle of a tropical storm right now, but I still have internet, I still have power, so I'm still here on CrossFire, man. That's how you do it, bro.
Yes, it's exactly how you do it. And let me tell you something. He's already in a mood, and I can already tell. I can't wait. He must have just punched off the clock. Gaming Forte is here. He's on time, and he's about had it up to here, and I'm holding my hand above my head with everything that's going on social media. Forte, now I see you're muted still, but I'm still going to give you one hell of an intro.
Get him, Forte.
Forte, how the hell you doing tonight?
Okay, so I'm super excited because today's going to be a really fun day. Mm-hmm. Let's just get into it, man.
Okay, man. Listen, see, that's what's great. Forte's going to be in a great mood tonight. And then I've got a special guest with us. You guys know him as, woo! It's Enrique from Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Brap, it's great to have you back on the show, buddy. It's been a couple of weeks. How the hell are you doing? And you're still muted as well. I appreciate the muting, but now you can unmute. Woo! There it is.
Woo! I'm back. Yeah, it's funny. I gave a woo and I realized I was muted. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Hey, and you know what? It's great to be back. Great topics. It's going to be an exciting show. I can't wait.
It's going to be great. That's what it's going to be. Let me get this much. I have listen, this is an interesting part of the show right now. I have a special guest on, which is just an honor to have him on. He's blown up. Now, I think he's got some big news too. And he's gone from Twitch to YouTube, which breaks my heart slightly. But I got to tell you, he's kicking ass and taking names on Scumcast. He's blowing up Twitter. He promotes people. When you think of community members, this is who comes to mind. It's Hustle and Motivates back on the show. Yo, Hustle, welcome back tonight, man. And how the hell you been?
I've been great, man. I've been feeling very phenomenal. And yes, as you mentioned earlier, well, also, before the last time I was on here, I wasn't an official member of the Scumcast. Now you can catch me every Saturday at 4 p.m. with the Ash and Luca on the Scumcast with Slow-Mo and the rest of the panel. Also, yes, I've made the decision to stream on YouTube because, well, I'll be honest with you, it's more people over here on YouTube than it is over there.
This is true. This is true. I can't argue with you.
I figure, you know what, since I'm already over here and I'm developing a platform, let's build it up here first. Outside of that, man, I am doing wonderful, man. And I hope all of you gentlemen on the panel and everyone in the chat is doing well, man. Let's get into these topics. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Let's get into it. And I just want to let you guys know that the great Slow-Mo Backslap will be joining us at some point tonight. And so we are hoping also will Knox. Knox is supposed to be joining us as well. Slow-Mo he's still working, so he's going to jump into the chat the absolute second he gets back from work. So we'll welcome Slow-Mo when he gets here. But I'm going to start with Crap. Crap, let me tell you something. It's never boring in the gaming industry, right, Crap? It's just for our years, right? It's never boring. Here we've got a situation again where Xbox boss says PS5-Style Next-Gen Exclusives counter to what gaming is about. And I have the article, but you've been kind of sounding off on this a bit today, and not anything negative, just kind of, we're all kind of like sitting there with our shoulders up next to our ears like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on?
The main thing is that it's a contradiction to what he stated previously. So, like, now that he's been in office for as long as he has been, like, the things that is contradicting the other things are starting to pile up on him. And I feel like, people are starting to kind of notice that a little bit more. Again, everybody's entitled to change their mind. I think that's human nature.
Absolutely.
But it's like, it seems awkwardly odd that the timing of these things comes out, just when he has a new console to sell you or what, you know what I mean? Like, for me personally. So yeah, he said, and I have it too. So this is what he says today. He's like, I'm a bit soapboxy with this. Gaming is about entertainment, community, and diversion and learning new stories and perspectives. And I find it completely counter to what gaming is about to say that part of that is to lock people away from being able to experience those games. By the way, he has no problem locking people from experiencing free-to-play games on multiplayer on Xbox Live. But I'm just saying, or to force someone to buy my specific device on that day that I want them to go buy it in order to partake in what gaming is about. Gaming is bigger than any one device, and that is something as an industry that we've embraced all up as we bring more and more players in. I think it's vital, the role that we're playing on this planet, blah, blah, blah. But back when the Xbox One launched, he says the Xbox One isn't backwards compatible to the Xbox 360, but a game like Halo 4 seems like it could have life on Xbox One. Phil Spencer said that doing a port wasn't something he wanted for launch. He said, I want launch of a new console to be about new things that are taking full advantage of the new hardware, especially as a first party. Any kind of strategy with the back catalog is something that I thought we would think about later on down the road. So,
so it goes back to what you were saying, Crap, where when it was the Xbox One, right? Well, with the Xbox One, they didn't have the 360 back compat ready. They're like, it's all about the future. Now that they don't have much going into the future because they just acquired the studios, it's all about the past, right?
Yeah, not only that, but it was like some of the games that were cross-gen were like almost completely different games realistically. Like, Forza Horizon 2, which came out later on, like within that first year of the Xbox One, was a completely different game made by a completely different team on 360. Right. Like that's just the way it was. Like, I don't think I wouldn't have upgraded day one if I could have played Killer Instinct on 360 and Rise on 360. And you know what I mean? Like, as far as I can tell, every single generation, they upgrade, and the reason why people upgrade to that new console is, to play the latest and greatest that wasn't possible on the previous hardware. So to me, it is a little bit perplexing to see this kind of approach, almost come after Sony, like, oh, we're the good guys. We're not forcing it. But like literally every other generation was like that. So, to me, I think I'd feel more anti-consumer about a company that's not giving me anything specifically for next generation, as opposed to a company that's making me that, if I'm going to spend my $500 or whatever, give me something to showcase it. You know what I mean? Give me stuff on there that realistically can't be done on what I already have. Otherwise, that's the whole point of upgrading. Like, I don't get this as a console guy, like it doesn't make any sense. I've been seeing some of the stuff, like people are starting to notice now, like a lot of the like contradictory stuff. Like he even said today that, he says Xbox Series X games aren't being held back by Xbox One,
Right.
but you can produce numerous articles, even from his own developers, even from Obsidian, who says Outer Worlds was held back by console memory budgets, that they had to cut stuff out of the game. So what happens if Obsidian has to come out with a game and they have to support the Xbox One from 2013, or you know what I mean, or even the X or whatever?
I think all the games that are slotted, though, like when it comes down to it, like they know what games are coming out within the first year, or they have a good idea, mindful of any type of delays or anything like that. So they have a good idea of what's coming out. At the end of the day, these people are working for corporations, and like, how people say never trust corporations and stuff. We've had multiple corporations go against the grain on what they said, talking about like a 180 on things they said, even over on Sony's side when it came to backwards compatibility. And now they changed their tune on that. At the end of the day, these people are out there trying to make money. Xbox has a new direction that they are going in now. And of course they're going to change their kind of like their public speak according to their direction, man. That's what it is now compared to 2013.
Xbox, you're not necessarily wrong, and I want to give the mic back to you. Actually, want to hear what Hustle's going to say. So let me just do a quick shout out to great Sin Vendetta. Pardon me. I just want to
say, but there's other things, because some people are like, well, that wasn't Phil's idea or whatever. Like, listen, there's other instances that I can give you. And when he was trying to sell us an Xbox One X, he said nobody cared about 60 frames. Obviously, that was like a 4K 30 machine for a lot of that stuff. Now, fast forward 3 years later, he's trying to sell us a 4K 60 machine. So, of course, everybody cares about 60 frames, right? Like, that's literally within a 2.5 year span. So there's all kinds of instances.
Everybody cares about 60 frames, though.
That's what he's saying. He's saying that the Xbox Series X is all about pushing the 60 frames that everybody's been asking for.
That's the reason you would buy the system.
He says he's listening to everybody, though. He's listening, and the reason why it's there.
Don't care about 60 frames per second. Let's be for real. Most people don't.
Well, hey, I agree. But he didn't. He was pushing the narrative that nobody cared when he had a console that wasn't really pushing 60.
Hold on, the narrative before.
And then 2.5 years later, he's pushing. Hey, we are gonna worry about 60. You know what I mean?
When it comes to 60 frames, in terms of social media, before it came out like that, there were some games running 30 and all that good stuff. People on both sides of the coin here, PlayStation guys, Xbox guys, there was one thing that a lot of them agreed on, that the next generation, 60 frames per second, the frames matter more than the resolution and all that good stuff.
Well, I mean,
and then
Xbox,
I think
you're right. I think, like you said, when you always say that small echo chamber that we're all in, right? That I agree with you. But I think Forte actually hit the home run, and when he said, and Crap agreed with it, was that if you speak to the average gamer just walking down the street, walking into GameStop, they probably don't have the cares that we do. We all were ready for that. We were all for load times to go away.
Why do we speak to the average gamer when it comes to something like frames per second? But then when it comes to something like the Lockhart that caters to the more casual gamer, then all of a sudden it's about the hardcore and what the hardcore thinks and stuff like that. Why do we why isn't it?
I see what you're saying. Well, that's because it's a completely different conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because
but you can point to a certain demographic on one conversation, but say that they're pretty much irrelevant for the second part.
Yeah, but Xbox, me and you could walk through the Guggenheim in New York, and I could be like, "What the hell is this painting doing here? It doesn't belong in the same room with that painting." And the guy would go, "Well, that was the same era." Says who? Who cares? I don't like that pastel. My point being, let me get to the super chat real quick. Shout out to the great Sin Vendetta. He says, I just want to take a second to congratulate Mooch on finally beating Bloodborne solo and on his way to platinum in the game. Proud of you, buddy. Sin, thank you. Couldn't have done it without you, buddy. And the great chat that we've had with us. Carlos Crespin says, Phil talks too much. Meanwhile, Jim Ryan says, let's let the games do the talking. And I think even Crap was fair. Crap was going back. Well, you know, I agree with you there, Forte, because even Crap said earlier that Jim Ryan has made a couple of.
That man's run his mouth more.
Yeah,
than
he's had his foot. He's had his foot in his mouth a lot
with the backwards compatibility stuff and stuff like. But I mean, like this stuff, I'm looking at like all this stuff right in front of me right now. Phil Spencer and Alan Wake 2. Remedy has to want to make the game. Then like 2 weeks later, everyone at Remedy wants to make Alan Wake 2. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, here's Sunset Overdrive 2. Phil says, that's really on them. You know, they really, if they want to make it, you know, we'd be in for it. And then you have Ted Price. Well, Microsoft is kind of holding us up. They have the publishing rights. We want to make it. They haven't given us the go-ahead, right? Like that's the kind of funny stuff to me. And this is like throughout this whole generation. Phil Spencer says Scalebound cancellation, quote, better for gamers. Phil Spencer, I want to win this generation. He says that in 2014. In 2015, cancels a bunch of games, closes a bunch of studios, hasn't announced a new AAA IP since 2015, hasn't released a new AAA single-player IP since 2016. If Lockhart is real, that would make 5 new consoles announced since 2016, but not a single new AAA IP. You know, some of the stuff that just kind of
that's the thing, Crap. And you know, these statistics that you have actually, and these numbers and these years and dates, they all line up to how is it? I was okay, Crap, when me and you spoke many moons ago on MNC about how like they're ending this generation early, they're ramping up, we're getting ready for next generation. Me and you were amped, we're like, okay, let's go.
Which I told you they were doing that from the beginning anyway.
That's fine, Xbox. But my point being is, and we'll find out July 23rd. So this is a preemptive statement. I'm not going to go full-fledged on it. It's just preemptive. But what I'm saying is that I hope that for this November, we see at least 2 or 3 of Xbox's first parties ready to launch a game with the console. They've had plenty of time.
I hope so. Yeah.
They've had plenty of time. If we only get Halo and AA games, that's kind of piss poor when they haven't done anything since 2015, 2016 in their first party, respectively. Okay, except for Gears. And
not only that, he said flat out they signed deals. Right? He's like, we've signed deals, despite the fact that he said they weren't going to sign deals. They went out, he went back and said, hey, we did sign deals. And, you know, now we're waiting for those deals to come to fruition. So, again, he also said he doesn't want to announce games more than 18 months out. But, you know, that changed too.
We both did not agree with.
Well, no, who the hell would agree to that? You know what I mean? Like, listen, when we are in the middle of Xbox fans, right? Like, I get caught, like, in the middle of a 14-month AAA exclusive drought on Xbox One. Gears of War 5 launched in September of 2019. Halo Infinite doesn't launch till supposedly November of 2020. That's 14 long months. Imagine 14 months of no content from Netflix. How many are going to stick around for that, right? Like, sure, they had some.
I think I dealt with like
Bleeding
14
Edge.
Months, no Disney Plus new content.
Bleeding Edge. Well, I mean, I don't like Bleed. That's just included with my package that I have anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you know, kids like it or whatever. But it's like, you know, that's a long time. And people just like cast as when I bring this stuff up, it's like they sit back in awe and they go, "Damn, that is a long time, right?" Like. Yeah. It is. It's how can Sony have a Spider-Man game and a Horizon game coming in the first year and Ratchet and Clank coming and still have The Last of Us 2 that just released and Ghost of Tsushima still coming out, right?
Yeah. They're not even done yet. They're not done yet.
How is that possible? They technically have less studios. They had less time, and here they are showing stuff, getting people hyped up already. Microsoft will definitely, and I've heard they're going to have. I heard they're
killed either.
I heard they're going to have a good show.
Was never threatened at that point in time to be killed, so they had development moving forward. Crap. Again, like we've said before, millions of times. Like at one point in time, Phil had to sell Satya on the Xbox division.
Let's mean,
they had nothing in the oven at that point, man.
Well, I mean, they didn't have anything in the oven because they canceled it.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, sure, they pulled it out of the oven. Hold on a second, guys. I want to get to Hustle and I want to get to Brap. Let me just shout out real quick to Aerodemus. He says, 2013 Phil was staying in line with company message when Don Matrick was in charge. Now he is in charge. He can set the direction. The problem is that that compass has way too many directions on it. Van comes back and says, can we be serious for 1 second and call out Xbox to fix their game chat issues that have plagued us forever? Fix yo shit, says Van. Shout out to the great Van. Butcher Van here, man. And I've also got a couple more here. Mr. Miracle's here, and he says, let's keep it real. He said, would Xbox guys rather have an hour of games or an hour of Phil on stage taking I think he means talking to a camera. He's got more TV time than Jerry Jones. Sony lets their games take center stage. And Sir Galahad, the great Sir Galahad. Cross-gen will hold back SSD and new game design. A lot of people are on board with that. So before we get into that, because Sir Galahad brings up a whole nother can of worms, let me go to Hustle and Motivate. Hustle, listen, I know a lot of times you like to just come in and be the voice of reason, and I appreciate that.
He comes in smooth.
He
like,
does.
man.
He does.
He's smooth.
He's silk, okay? So let me explain this to you with Hustle. Hustle, where are you? And listen, this isn't taking a side. It's not about that. This is about you and your wallet and your best pastime hobby in gaming that we all like to do. Where are you with this whole thing you're hearing about how Microsoft doesn't truly like the way that PlayStation, or even maybe he didn't mention Nintendo, are handling the word and the concept of exclusives, and Microsoft feels like they can move on where you should play anywhere with anyone on any mountain. You know what? You've heard the spiel. Where are you on this, Hustle?
I feel like Phil Spencer needs to not answer a question like that. Listen, I'll build a PC because I can play all that stuff on PC, and that's fine for me. So why that's beneficial to me? A lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people are intimidated by PC. Like my brother, who is not here, he's literally not intimidated, he's scared. He just doesn't want to have to deal with that type of hassle or that type of headache.
I don't want to deal with that shit, man. That's me too, yeah.
Yep. And for that alone, it's like, yo, you need exclusives on your console. If none of these games were on PC, I would have no problem buying into like the 15 new studios, which is rumored to be more studios that Xbox is buying. I would have no problem putting day one down for a Series X. I think Phil needs to not, whoever his publicist is, like, yo, let's not answer that question right now. Like, let's not do that because it does sound a certain way. I think Crappy brought it up earlier that it wasn't like that last gen. But I have a question for you all on the panel, and maybe you all can educate me. How many third-party deals does Xbox have, and is it more than PlayStation? Because I feel like he's making that
more right now.
You said PlayStation has more?
PlayStation has more that we know of right now. We don't really know what Xbox has in store for this generation coming up.
So that kind of explains everything right there. Then, okay, so they don't like the 360 era, as y'all remember, they had them third-party deals on.
Yes.
Y'all knew where all of it was on 360, right? Y'all knew Grand Theft Auto 4 was on 360. All the DLC was on 360 first, the second, and the third. Now it's not working in his favor, so he got to dance around that. And I'm not mad at him for dancing around it because you gotta be G enough to answer that question. You got to know how to answer that question. I get it, but at the same time, sometimes some questions you gotta like not answer. Like you better off not saying nothing because if y'all was in the 360 position again, it'd be like no, come on over here. We not come on, everybody, come on over here, come on, here we go. And then it would just be that. Like I read like when Crap and all you guys were talking about it earlier. I'm like, oh, they must know they don't have as many deals as the previous gen. That's all it was, and that's what I figured out just gaining from that. And I want to bring up something real quick, not to derail the conversation. I tweeted out on Twitter a few days ago that if gaming companies follow the hardcore, then the casual market is sure to follow. We want at least 60 frames in games, right?
Yeah,
casual
absolutely.
People, they'll notice, but they probably won't make a big deal out of it. And they'll guess what? They'll still buy the game.
But you know what, Hustle, I like what you just said, Hustle. Do you remember when Apple started what they called that Retina display on phones when we went from the 3GS to the 4, right? And I think then the very next iteration, Samsung picked up on it as well. I don't know what they called it, but whatever we're calling it. When we went, and this is casuals, right? Casual, and that's why what Hustle just said holds a lot of water, okay? The casual, you go up and ask them, they might go, I don't care. Doesn't matter. 30 frames, 60 frames, 90 frames. Picture frames. I don't give a shit what you're talking about. But the point of the matter is, right, at the end of the day, once they start playing, like let's say you put a casual gamer that didn't care in the least, you give him 2 weeks with 60 frames, put him back on 30, he's going to have a problem with that. It's the same thing like going from that Retina display back to what we had on the 3GS. That looked like a muddy cloud of just mush compared to this, right? So that's the thing. That's what happens. And shout out to, let me go, I like that, pretty good, pretty neat. Shout out to Noximus. Nox, you made it, buddy. Good to have you here tonight.
Thank you, my brother. Sorry,
what up, Nox?
What's good, Nox?
What up, gentlemen?
Oh, here we go.
What's poppin'?
That was the greatest little intro. He's like, pretty good, pretty neat. I was like, oh, guess who's here? Nox, good to have you, buddy. We're just kind of talking about your buddy Phil's comments from today.
Oh, no.
And yeah, I don't know how much. But I did steal the mic away from Brap, too. Brap, if you have a comment on this, and then we can give it to Nox.
Yeah, I do, because I actually tweeted something out earlier. What Phil said, that he believes that generational exclusives are completely counter to what gaming is about.
Hard to stand behind that, right, Brad?
Only at Microsoft. It's what gaming is anti about. Only at Microsoft, baby.
I wholeheartedly disagree with that because, again, I said this. I said, I want to see developers take advantage of new hardware from a design standpoint. I get the fidelity piece. I get the shiny new.
That's what you get at launch of consoles anyway. You get shiny. That's what you get, man.
That's what you want.
That you always.
That's what you want. That's what sets the tone.
You always don't get shiny though. You will get some games sometimes that will do things at launch that other games could
very seldom, dude.
But the point is that
it's true.
It's like, and I get it's a marketing. I get it for him. It's marketing. Like it's he's got to accomplish sell. This is marketing speech. I get that, but to me that is not. And I said this in a Brap DM. Like I'm actually more excited about the prospects, and not to say that what Xbox has cooking is bad. I don't think that what they have is bad. I'm excited.
Not to say that, but I'm gonna dance around that real quick and kind of suggest it.
But I'm actually more excited from what Sony is offering with the PlayStation 5 because they're not strung, they're not held back potentially in terms of game design with a lower common denominator.
Yo, guys, check this out. Yo, real quick. Let me, dude, I started first. Let me say something real quick, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Sony's the Yankees, and I'm sorry for the Mets when Xbox are the Mets.
And
Sony goes out there. They make those acquisitions. They make their shit stronger. They put better stuff out there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just.
I'm stubborn. Just real quick. I'm going to introduce you guys to some harsh reality here.
Go ahead, Xbox.
When it comes down to it with Xbox, right? Within the first year, even year and a half, right? Most of the time in a new generation, you get flashy. You get better graphics. You get things that are hooking the casual to look that way, to look to the new systems, right?
Right. Okay.
Within that, in Xbox, can I finish, dude? Real quick.
No.
Just real quick, man. Yo, within all that, you have Xbox trying to gain more kind of like favorability out there in the gaming community as well. They look at this window and it's like, well, you mostly get shiny with that. You get improved graphics, stuff like that. That's the majority of what you get. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to tout it as, you know what? If you can't get into next generation quite yet, the next Halo is going to be there for you on Xbox One as well. They're trying to use it as a PR thing when in reality, that first year or so, that's all you get is like improved graphics and stuff like that the majority of the time anyway. That's the reality of what's going on with Xbox right now.
But the other thing too, Xbox, is it's not just the first year or two with Xbox. It's after year two that they're held back because you got to remember PC is potentially the lowest common denominator here for them too.
Right.
Because from a first
very temporarily. Temporarily, because they're coming out with new graphics cards. The minimum requirements for PC gaming is going to go up. You're acting like the minimum requirements are going to stay stagnant for over 2 years.
Right, well,
dude.
hold on. You made
wait.
Go ahead, Brap.
Are you saying wait? First of all, we don't know what minimum requirements are going to be, right? I think minimum requirements are like what 960.
A 960 according to code last week. 960 is
so maybe they go up. Maybe they go up a generational leap to the 1060. Right? It's still being held back. It's still being so. In order for them, Forte. You can what all you have been putting. You can what all you want, but
go ahead. Xbox Series X. I'm gonna let this breathe. Go ahead.
Xbox. You say Forte. You're saying Xbox Series X is more powerful than a 1060?
Series X?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Because that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
that's what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that from a first party perspective, they still were going to be held back from a design perspective because they have to contend with the fact that they released on PC their PC games or first party games on PC day and date, and on top of that, there's the Lockhart they have to contend with.
So what Enrique is saying is that they have to cater to minimum specs on PC, right?
Yes.
holding
Which
them
minimum
back.
specs are still going to be less than the Series X.
I agree with that. Yes, they are.
I don't understand. Like that's not that. Why is that? I don't understand why that's hard to understand. Like
because they don't want to understand it, my brother. But I get you.
Well, so I have the quote here from, I believe it's the quote from Phil Spencer here. It's right from the article on being, and he says, frankly, held back is a meme that gets created by people who are too caught up in a device's competition. The diversity of hardware choice. Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Knox, I'm with you. The diversity of hardware choice in PC has not held back the highest fidelity PC games on the market. The highest fidelity, PC games rival anything that anybody has ever seen in video games. So this idea that developers don't know how to build games or game engines or ecosystems that work across a set of hardware, there's a proof point in PC that shows that's not the case. But see, this is the great thing and the awful thing about the era we live in. Everybody can kind of mince, right? You can, right? They can, right? Exactly. That's not what people are really saying, though, right? I mean, what he said was accurate, right? So is that go in line with what you were saying or what Forte was saying?
I'm talking about gameplay, a game design. I'm not talking about the scalability of graphics because those are two different things.
Well, the only people that can take advantage of that is the first party ever,
and that's my point.
And 90% of games don't take advantage of that.
That's and that's fine. That 90%.
And I agree. That is, I will tell you, I want game design over everything. It's just a simple fact that it baffles me to think that people realize. Go ahead.
The gems.
Can we all agree? Can we all agree on one thing, right? Console gaming is what sets the tone for all of gaming, and that includes PC. Is that correct? Console gaming is what moves the threshold forward. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, listen. I'll agree with you just because. I'll say it. Look, when Batman Arkham Knight came out, Rocksteady did that version for consoles. You had somebody else do the PC version.
That's why the PC version was crap.
Yeah, when Destiny 2 came out, Bungie did the console version, and I think somebody else might have did the PC version, right? So it's like it's very common for the ports that come to PC to be done by other teams sometimes because
Bungie did the PC port.
No,
I don't know if
Bungie
so.
Bungie did, but they did it after.
Bungie didn't do the PC port.
Yeah,
hey, I want to just point this out though. So Phil Spencer says there's nothing held back. Phil Spencer says there's nothing held back from the old gen, from the current gen into next gen, but stuff was already held back from this gen, and this is Obsidian Entertainment right here. I'm reading this right now, and this is about Outer Worlds 2 or Outer Worlds, excuse me. It says that Outer Worlds might not have had the biggest environments to explore, with the likes of Fallout 4 and Witcher 3 Wild Hunt being bigger, but at least those locations were fairly detailed. However, it could have been so much better. Developer from Obsidian reveals how RPG experience was held back by the memory constraints of current-gen consoles. While discussing the Groundbreaker, the second location in the game that you explore, senior game designer Brian Hines explains how the setting was originally split between 3 separate levels, each featuring a load screen. This was too much for the team, and so it decided to create a single cohesive environment, which brought about its own problems. Yep. Areas such as the medical bay had to be tweaked in order to work on the station's main promenade, as well as a few other locations, as the single setting now blew past the memory constraints of the PS4 and Xbox One. As such, an entire section of Groundbreaker, dubbed the Bridge, was cut simply to fit it on consoles. Elsewhere, he discusses another drawback to this. They created too many NPCs for the game to handle on current-gen hardware, meaning that a certain number was cut completely from the experience. He says, and I quote, "It kind of breaks my heart a little bit. There's not a lot of people moving around on Groundbreaker, and that was basically because when we got the art pass done and the lighting pass, we had to actually pull back on the number of actual characters on the Groundbreaker to fit on consoles because we just didn't have the memory budget." So this is my concern, too. I've been saying this all along. Like, Halo 5 is going to look great, and I'm sure it's going to look and play fantastic.
Right.
But the fact that damn game is shipping on an Xbox One from 2013 means that NPC budgets, world-size budgets, like there's obviously some kind of sacrifices being made here, right? I'm not saying the game's not going to be awesome. I'm just saying that there's obviously some kind of thing that is could have been held back here. That's all.
It's funny, crap, because when you talk to people who don't agree with you, it's almost like that Seinfeld episode with the show about nothing. He's like, "Well, something has to happen." He's like, "No, nothing happens."
No, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, listen, I've yet to have anybody explain this to me, and this was explained to me by a friend of mine who's a developer, not like a AAA developer, but just a regular developer, and he told me the way I explain it to everybody, which is if these games got a co-op together, got a multiplayer together, then they've got to have the same amount of AI on the screen together when you're fighting, the same amount of enemies.
Right. So if I have a series, If I have a Series X crap and you have an Xbox One S, I can't have 85 guys I'm fighting. I'm like, crap, over here. You're like, there's no one there.
What?
I'm like,
There's
no
one there.
There's nobody there.
It can't be like that. Like there could be frame rate differences.
Right.
There could be resolution differences.
Absolutely.
But there can't be world size differences or enemy AI differences or anything like that. You just can't do that because these games got to sync up. And that's the way it's explained to me. So that's the way I kind of explain it to people. So I would think that Halo 5 is going to look great. I've heard good things about it, but still part of me thinks if this was just, next gen only, like Xbox Series X.
Listen, and nobody wants to
be so much better.
Crap, nobody wants to hear this. And I said it when we were talking earlier. I got to be honest with you. This is like the 800-pound gorilla in the bag. The situation is this. Xbox, I know sales don't matter. And Forte, I got to tell you something. What you said weeks ago resonates with me, and I know you're right. 50 million is still a tremendous number. It's a tremendous number. Absolutely. But Xbox lost by more than 2-1 this generation, right? They have to.
What they did last year.
But hear me out. It's not even that, Knox. That's not even where I'm going. The reason they're making this strong push for this and bringing everybody along is if they had to hit the reset button like Sony's going to do, they would fall further behind. They can't afford it. They just simply can't afford it. That's my personal opinion. I don't have any stat sheets, but it makes sense. It's logic, right? They have 50 million people that currently have Xbox Ones. They don't want to lose those and start over again because Sony's already on cruise control. They're literally got a new IP coming out right before they launch a new console. People are going out to buy PS4s next week for Ghost of Tsushima. So my point being is there's people already in their ecosystem. Microsoft can't afford with their push on services. They just can't afford to leave the 50 million behind. So, in essence, crap, what you said is right. And that's just a price we're going to have to pay if you're going to stick around for the next 12 to 24 months. Eventually, yes, the S and the X will be completely just done with, and they won't cater to it. They won't support it. I get it. But that's not in the foreseeable future. That's extended. That's anywhere from 18 to 24 months out.
But then why would any of us support that then, Mooch?
That's what I was about to ask.
There's just no point. There's just no point in supporting such a
Well,
wait a minute. Well, there's two parts to that. Knox, there's two parts. Forte, there's two parts to that, though, Knox. You can't say, why would you support? Why would I leave when I truly can't wait to play Halo, right? The question is, why would you support buying new hardware on day one? That's what I'm
talking about.
Yeah, I'm with Forte, exactly.
They're providing us with that option. So you are correct. And I thank you. That is.
You know what I mean? I just wanted to divvy the question because it's not support them.
That's fantastic because you're right. If I want to partake in Halo Infinite, I can. But still, it still has to be a mediocre product, in my opinion, because like Crap just pointed out earlier, it has to still cater to 2013 hardware. It has to do that. It has. You guys keep saying the S. You're forgetting the fat. They're not neglecting the fat.
No,
they're not neglecting.
They can't. They can't.
And PC,
and
PC, which is going to have the lower spec.
Okay, there you go then.
Yep, let me do a quick shout out real quick. And Enrique, I will give you the microphone back. Sir X-Man says, with cross-play incoming games, most of the DLC has to come evenly amongst the consoles now so that they can keep cross-play fair across the board. That is a true statement. I also have a couple here just real quick, guys. True Witty comes in and he says, this tells me Xbox won't use the faster SSD at all. I don't know if that's true. I think
that's not true.
No, that's I'm not.
Yeah, going to use it.
I can't buy into that one.
They are. Guys, when it comes to the next series of hardware, and you guys might not like this, but when it comes down to it, Halo Infinite is going to look infinitely better on the Series X. Not only that, with the new hardware, you get things like minimal to no load times. There's a feature set to the new hardware that, somebody might pick up Halo Infinite for their Xbox One and they play it, and then when they go over their friend's house and they see the Series X, and all of a sudden that shit loads in like almost instantaneously, right?
It's gonna
be like, holy crap! Like,
it's gonna look.
I gotta get one of those.
It's gonna look as fantastic as 2013 visuals are allowed to look.
No,
so wait,
21.
Xbox.
Yes, it is.
Xbox.
Yes, it is Xbox.
No,
it is Xbox because it has to cater to that.
No, it's not.
Hold on a second.
It's not going to look like 2013. It's not.
No, I said it's going to look at 2013 at the max. Is what I'm saying. Like 2013 now.
No, it's not, dude.
It is. It has to.
No, it doesn't have to, man. You can just point to the PC space to show
No,
that.
My dude, there's certain PC parameters end, my
Well,
dude.
wait a second. Wait, Knox, clarify your point, though. I think are you trying to say that if you're using an Xbox One Day One edition or the Fat edition, as we always call it, you're saying that it can't look any better than what that machine is putting out?
What I'm saying is, whatever the base, whatever the lowest common denominator is that has to run on the 2013 Xbox One Fat, right? The dopest, the most imaginable dopest version of that, within current technology, of course, is what you're going to get with the Series X, because it will be gimped by having to cater to that hardware. That's what I'm saying.
July is going to be an eye opener. July 23rd is going to be an eye opener.
We'll see, my dude. You believe whatever smoke and whistles you want. You want whatever snake oil.
I just don't believe the same smoke and whistles that you believe in, man.
Real quick.
I'm speaking in facts, though, my dude. Like,
go ahead, Brad.
We're not starting from what this hardware can do and expanding. We are catering to old hardware and maximizing it to the best of that's abilities, to the best ability of that shit. Yeah, it's gonna look dope, but it's still gonna be held back.
Well, but it's the categories that where it'll be held back, not necessarily on the aesthetics. It won't be the looks, or it won't be the resolution, or it won't be the frame rate.
There was a reason why Bungie said, hey, we're not going to support legacy hardware. We're not going to support PS3s and 360s in Destiny. Why not? It wasn't so much of a right when that happened.
Yeah, but again, Knox, the thing to take out of that is
it was also a two-pronged attack. They even came out in that same Vidoc and said that they were making a move because of memory constraints, but they also said the biggest move is because most people didn't play on that platform.
Yeah.
If that platform had a lot of people still playing on it, they would have supported.
Enrique wants to get his point in. I just want to say, Van made a point here on Destiny. Then, Brap, you definitely got to make your point. He says here, I played Destiny 2 on my Xbox One X with a friend that has an OG Xbox, and in the mission, he loaded almost 40 seconds into the strike after me. And
that's not a lie either.
That happens.
That's definitely not a lie. That's definitely
all
the truth.
the time that happens to me.
Right. So
even a minute.
That happened with me and Crap when we were playing PUBG. It was me and him had the X, and I believe had the
but
S.
It doesn't hold back, right? But it doesn't hold it back, though. Come on.
I mean, you can hook up a hard drive.
But internet connection also does that as well.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Xbot, hold on. Wait a second. Let Brap. I want Brap to. Hold on a second. Let me give Brap the mic. Hold on, guys. Let me give Brap the mic. Go ahead.
So real quick, to what Knox was saying about Halo Infinite. Here's the caveat here with game design. If Microsoft chooses to drop the bag in terms of development and specifically have two teams design Halo Infinite, one for the Xbox Series X and one for the older Xboxes, then no, and that's actually that's kind of a workaround. Now, most developers don't do that because it's financially very expensive for them to do it. But I've also heard that Microsoft actually did do this with Halo Infinite, where they actually designed a version specifically for the Series X and specifically for, the least common denominator, the older Xboxes. So from a single player perspective, we actually might see this game actually take advantage from a design perspective, take advantage of the hardware.
I've only ever heard one person say that, though.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Jason Schreier or one of these other big people mention this, right? Because people talk about being held back all the time. And again, because I heard an Optimus Code said that, and it's I'm not saying that I don't think he's not a reliable guy or anything like that, and maybe he heard that. I'm just saying, in my opinion, doesn't that go against everything Microsoft preaches to begin with? Right?
What is it that you heard, Crap, that you're...
No, I haven't heard that. I haven't heard, the only person I've heard say that it's two versions of the game is Optimus Code, right?
Right.
He says there's two separate versions and, recognize which version. I think that goes against everything. And not only that, but that would mean that there's hardly any player pool for the Series X version, because let's be real, this thing's not going to set the world on fire when it starts selling. So they're going to be forced to match up, if that is the case, with people on lesser hardware to begin with, right?
So I'm talking about for single player, though.
I'm talking about single player. For multiplayer, you're absolutely
But I
right.
mean, that's a co-op game.
Yeah,
Right.
They
So
want it
what's-
to be a
what-
universally co-op game. So it doesn't
Yeah, that's what
matter-
I'm
it
saying,
doesn't-
like-
it doesn't matter whether it's single player or multiplayer. It's
There's-
still universally co-op. That's what they
There's,
want.
there's toggles in games that allow you, if they do it that way, that you can still toggle if you want to play with just those people or not.
On a console, is there an example of that?
For the love of Christ.
Not yet,
mean,
but
have
they
it for-
would. They
have
could
they
do
have
it,
for
right?
PC. They've been doing it.
I mean,
If
on
they can
PC,
toggle-
but
if
I
they
mean,
can toggle between PC and console, they could definitely toggle between two consoles.
I don't know. Like I said, though, there would be an incredibly small player pool that are just. And what happened? Like a lot of people
Right.
want to play with their friends and stuff. I
you
don't know. I
gotta
just
think a
think the
lot.
logistics for it don't seem as legit as just having a game that looks great on the Series X, but is the same basic game with the same amount of enemies, same AI. You know what I mean? Like I just think that until I see them don't tell me something, show me something. When
And
Microsoft comes out and
That's what I said.
yeah, if they come out and they do that, hey, great, But
Right.
their first party, like I saw the interview, their first part, and this was with Ryan McCaffrey with IGN. He's like, their first party didn't even say that all games are going to get upgraded for the Series X.
Yeah, they wouldn't
even
commit
admit
to
that.
it.
They wouldn't commit to it.
Admit.
Yeah.
I think Matt Booty even hinted at that too, if I'm not mistaken. Crap.
What's
Like,
that?
I think Matt Booty kind of hinted at that a little bit, where he said something to the effect that there's going to be some games or something that really are like showpieces for the Series X. Or
Yeah, he
something.
said there's a couple.
Yeah.
There's a couple showpieces.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I mean, listen, I'm not saying that's
you know
not
what,
true.
I'm gonna tell you what those showpieces are gonna be, guys. I'm sorry to cut you off, crap, but I gotta say
it's all
this
good.
because this is what the showpieces are gonna be. It's gonna be third-party developers that want to try to take advantage of the more powerful hardware, quote unquote. Right?
No, I agree with that.
That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
That's
But
normally
then-
what happens.
It is, and then it's gonna lead to no end, like it always does for Microsoft, because they don't put any faith in anything. They don't support shit, and it's just the facts.
Let me just
a third party.
Microsoft got this nice
Man, this
feature.
one- this
I mean,
one-
while Sony got this nice feature, Sony got this nice feature, right, where players can take like a snippet of a game and send it to another player as a little demo for them to try the shit out and see if they like it. Do you guys think that's a dope feature? Is that something that I think that's something that is like revolutionary?
Yeah, I saw that today.
And pretty awesome, right, Crap?
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it is
Pretty awesome.
Cool. That's
Pretty,
cool.
pretty.
Hey, well, listen. Sony has a habit, and I can admit this now, of doing these things that seem like they should have been done, or they seem so simple. Like, look, the share button, right? We all like share button, right?
Like
now
big
everybody,
deal.
Now everybody's
Big
like, where's
deal.
my share button?
Where's
you know what I
the
mean?
share?
Yeah.
They got a
Like-
share button, crap. Big deal.
Yeah.
It literally was like, I don't know. It's become the air conditioning to the car, right? You don't want to play without sharing pictures. People, the minute a game releases, and if you don't believe me, just stay tuned to Twitter next Friday when Ghost of Tsushima comes out, because you're about to get a million pictures again. Shout out to Happy Hour Ombre. He says, I know a game that has a little to no load times. It's called God of War, and it was made 2 years ago. New Halo has limited load times. Cool. So, I mean, he's saying that, like, that's the other thing, like, when Cory Balrog and those guys over at Sony Santa Monica, really, when you play through, yes, whatever it is, some of the cutscenes are the way that the characters turn, or there's a pause, but it's all in-game motion, or it's a cutscene of some sort, but it's not, there's no loading screens. Sir X-Man says, there was a time when we played by ourselves. I don't care how long it takes my friends to load, as long as I can still play with them on the same game. Sir X-Man, not everyone is as patient and as good-hearted as you are.
I'm not playing with anybody on the regular Xbox. When I get,
I want to.
Hustle. Hold on. Hustle. I got to get Hustle in here.
My first experience going through Halo campaign will either be by myself or with people that are on the new system.
Oh, wow, Forte.
Forte.
Hold on,
because that's your first experience. You don't want to be. I mean, that's the one thing.
Smooth brother, come in.
Look, I agree. Gaming.
What about community, Forte?
Gaming is selfish, dude. When it comes to stuff like that, if you go, I am a component. If you're gonna go out and spend $500 to $600 on a system, you might as well get the benefits of buying that system. I get clowned by Luca every freaking day because I refuse to switch Destiny over to an SSD on my Xbox because I just don't want to use my SSD for just that one game. But she yells at me every day about it. So I'm like, dude, if she's going to yell at me
get an SSD for that Porteo.
Lou, I have one. I just use it for game capture. It's better for the ecosystem that I use it for.
You don't need to. The Xbox ain't gonna do shit with this.
Hold on a second. Let me get.
But the biggest thing, it really.
You don't need to.
Go ahead and get your stuff.
All right, let me get Hustle in here. Hustle, you definitely got something to comment on. I know this.
Yeah. Forte, to your last point. You know, a lot of us here, we want like perfection, correct? But it's not about a lot of us in here. Listen, if it was up to me,
That's
Microsoft wouldn't even have Halo. And Microsoft would have left the Xbox One behind, period, and then started over. If it was up to me, for me personally. But but understand this: every 13-year-old named Billy and Katie and the rest of them, they always gonna want a game together. They're not gonna care if you don't have textures that's popping up in one game compared to the other game. They're not gonna care, dog. It don't matter. Like, I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter. It matters to me personally. But I have a question, and maybe you gentlemen can clarify this too. I thought I had heard Phil Spencer pretty much come out and say that the Xbox Series X's settings on Ultra, and the Series S will be settings on medium, and the VCR will be settings on low. Am I wrong in that assessment?
I never heard any of that.
I haven't heard.
Okay, if I find it, I will definitely link it to you all. I will definitely put it in that group chat. I definitely heard him make that comparison to PC gaming.
Yo, find that if you can. Hustle. Shout out to Marty Bison. He says, hello, gang. Woo! So shout out to the great Marty Bison who's here. And also Marty comes back again. And he says, how about that DLC box for the... Oh, get out of here. He's talking about... That's our next subject. He's talking about the PlayStation 5 box. And True Witty comes back and he says, if the SSD can drag in more enemies on screen, don't you think they can use it if they are still supporting 2013 hardware? It will hold back indefinitely. That's the question, and that's what we've been saying. Actually, Code's been saying, and Code was on last week, guys. And you know, after this show, not to just say, "Hey, go back and listen next week," but I got to tell you something. Code did a breakdown last week, Brap, and I know you were in the chat.
Fantastic.
Dude. I got to be honest with you. I went back and listened to him twice. He really nails it, and he uses definitive examples. So in case you're like, well, I don't know if this guy really knows, you're like, oh, wait a minute, that actually makes a whole lot of sense. You know what I mean? Like, he really broke it down in layman's terms for us that are not developers, okay? And that's what I really appreciated, is how Code kind of broke all that down. So I don't think you're going to get a resolution issue with your Series X. You may not even get a frame issue, but like Crap was saying, like Code said last week, like Brap said a million times, is that Knox said to a certain point, was that basically you're going to get, the worlds are going to be a bit different. You can't create a world that was capable on 2020 hardware when you're dealing with the lowest common denominator. And it's not just the fat Xbox One, right, Brap? We do have to take into consideration, and Code said this last week, the lowest common denominator is the PC. So the fact that Microsoft is making these games for PC as well, day and date, they have to cater to that. You have to include the PC, right?
Yep. Yeah. You know, I just want to comment something real quick about the whole design thing and what Ko was saying. Like I still people are still conflating game design and graphics. Like they're really two different things. One is scalable, the other one isn't. But also want to mention about third party, because I hear a lot of people saying, third party, majority of people play third party, and that's true. But I think typically, and this is why, again, it goes back to my point where I'm a little more excited. And not that I'm not excited about what Microsoft has, cooking in the oven, because they've made some really great studio acquisitions. Tim Schafer, I think, I don't think enough people are talking about the acquisition of Double Fine. Tim Schafer's, in my opinion,
go ahead, talk about that man. Yeah, one
of the most creative and ingenious developers in the industry. He doesn't get enough recognition, and I'm really interested to see what he could do with a lot of money behind him. But outside of that, the importance that I place on first party.
Don't you feel like he's going to kind of go to waste now, though?
I hope not. But the importance.
But you feel that way though, right?
No, I don't feel that way. But
like just by this acquisition, you kind of feel like, damn, man.
No, I don't.
That talent is falling to the wayside now.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Who gave you the 2-liter of haterade today?
Yeah.
Man?
Let me finish my point.
Good old Noximus, baby.
Hey, real quick.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought, Brad.
Let me finish my point. But the reason why I place a lot of emphasis on first party, and I understand a lot of people play third parties, that first party is where you typically see kind of that push in terms of new things, in terms of game related, because the first party developers are the ones that are really focused on one piece of hardware. They don't have to worry about getting a game to work for different platforms. They're solely focused on this one piece of hardware, and they typically push the boundaries of gameplay, of game design, and typically introduce new things. Sometimes it does happen in third party, like with Lord of the Rings and Nemesis engine, but typically it's first party, and that to me is what really, again, not that I'm not excited about what Microsoft is cooking, but that to me is why
Enrique. But that all changed this generation with the mid-gen refreshes, man. Then they had to support 2 SKUs, both companies, and they moved on from there, man. Like I hear what you're saying, but that changed
right now though.
They don't have to do a goddamn.
They're not doing it right now with the PlayStation 5.
They don't have to do a goddamn thing. That was a formula that was tried and people fell into it. And you know who was more susceptible to it?
If they made money on it, it'll be a formula they do again. Yeah.
And goddamn it, Xbot, you are absolutely correct, my brother. You ain't never lie about that shit there. You ain't never lie about that shit there. But if it works, right?
Well, we're waiting for you.
Huh?
We're waiting for you to talk.
Yeah, I thought I was like,
I was waiting for you.
I'm sorry.
I thought you had something. Was you done?
If it works, you will continue to do it. Correct? Right?
Yeah, but you just stopped talking, so we just trying to let you finish.
I'm sorry, I tried to segue in.
You was trying to.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
You were slow talking. Okay, got you.
That's my point. Hey, you know what?
I left you out there.
Sometimes I walk around like living a sitcom and shit. You know what I mean? So I try to segue
over the mic.
No, I see. Overall, I think the conversation, everybody is heading in the right direction. You know, game design is completely different than frame rates and everything like that, because the frame rates are just the things that you can see, you can sell it, it's easier to market. So that's the things they talk about. The biggest thing is PC has always, the reason people look at PC as this great place, even when it comes to third, because PC doesn't really have those. They have some really big first parties, but nobody really looks at PC for first party. It's about going to a system that allows you to play the game the way you want to at the highest fidelity that you definitely can do it at. And I think there is something to be said about that, because for me, you're right. I buy my PlayStation because I know I'm going to get games on that system that I'm not going to get on any other platform. I know that's why I'm buying my PlayStation. I also know that's why I'm not going to probably play my PlayStation as much over the course of a generation, because that's the only reason I'm buying it. I have other reasons why I buy different things. I'll upgrade my PC for other reasons, and I just think people need to get to it. They had to get to the idea that if somebody's not doing something that you want, don't support it. And most of us have a system in our house. If you don't like what Xbox is doing and you don't like the direction that Phil Spencer is pointing them in, you have a Series X, an Xbox One X in your house. You don't have to do anything for the next 2 years. Now, I know it sucks because people want to feel like they're being courted. And I think that's the one thing that Xbox isn't truly doing right now. They're not courting their hardcore fan base because they're not giving them what they want day one. You won't see that for 2 to 3 years later, but they're asking you to buy the system now. Maybe you're right. Maybe. But the biggest thing for me, I said this on Brap, I said this on Scumcast. The only reason I was for long saying I was not getting the Series X is there was no reason for me to, because I have an X, I play on PC. But then
you got a 2080, Forte.
I got a 2080, but I do miss playing with the people that I like playing with. And I said, once Bungie, to me, it only took one thing to happen. Once somebody told me what I wanted to hear, I'm gonna buy the system just for that one thing, because that's where my player base is. I like playing with those people. Now, everything else that comes with that is a bonus to me. I can go play on Xbox. I can play Game Pass on PC all day if I want to. That wouldn't be a big problem to me because I have a system that can do it. But now that I have a reason to buy an Xbox because of other things, it's Microsoft's fault that they're not giving me the reason to do it just by the games themselves.
Yes.
That's on them. I will never say that's not on them, because Xbox, their games, outside of Halo don't impact me. I don't buy Xbox for their games no more at all because they don't have games that.
Let me say something, Forte. That was a very powerful statement, and I don't think anyone's actually come out and said that, but I think a lot of people feel like that.
Well, that's the biggest thing. People need to just get out of their own.
When he's done.
Dude, people just got to get out of their own way and say, why are you buying what you're buying? Are you buying it just to say you own it?
Right.
Or are you buying it just to say, are you buying it to have fun with your friends or anything else? That is the
probably one of the best things I've heard in podcasting in a long time, Forte. I'm really glad that you kind of just put it on the table like that.
I have a question for Forte. So Forte, if Destiny, Bungie says crossplay enabled, are you gonna pass on the Series X?
If they say I'm not getting it. Not day one. Hell no. Why? If Bungie came out and said cross-play enabled with PC and Xbox, there's no reason. I can tackle two birds with one stone.
Already said it's cross-gen enabled.
Well, they already said it's cross-gen enabled.
But
cross-play coming next year.
Cross-play is coming next year, but I'm not going to wait. I'm not going. Me personally, I'm not the person that's going to wait.
I'm not going to Fire expansion right around the corner, bro.
I already bought the expansion for Xbox, so I just think that I'm not going to wait for something that I want.
Why wouldn't you wait?
Why wouldn't I wait?
Play with his friends.
Because I want to play with my friends on console. Why would you? Would you wait to play with people if you wanted to play with them?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you why I would. I'm gonna tell you.
No, go ahead, Knox. Let me hear it. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why I would. You know why? Because, God damn it, I got all you motherfuckers, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
I got all you motherfuckers, and I still gotta wait.
What you mean you gotta wait? That's because you ain't. Hey, listen, wait, hold on. Knox, that goes into the other thing. They're not giving you something that makes you want to buy the system. That's the difference. For you, if you were 100%, Luca has been very staunch in saying she was not buying a Series X when it came out. She changed her mind when Bungie came out and said what they said. Oh my
God, Luca, don't do that.
That's the thing, because they gave her something she wanted. She don't give a care about what Xbox does. She cares about one freaking game, and if that one game works on the system the way she wants it to work, she's going to buy the system.
But it's a shame because you have to care about what Xbox does, I don't.
No, I don't. I don't have to care what Xbox does. For what? Not? They're not giving me money.
So wait,
I'm not getting a check from them.
So hold on, Forte.
I'm not
giving your money away.
Wait, guys. I want to get to another subject. So Knox, ask Forte your question. Go ahead.
Questions.
Do you just like to give your money away? Does anyone in gaming? Does
do
anyone in anything? Not even gaming. In life. Do you like to give your money away, guys? Anyone?
Let me ask you, Knox. I got
anything. I'm married, so I do that. So
Knox. I have over 700 hours in Battlefield 4 on Xbox One. I have over 10,000 hours on Destiny on Xbox One. I don't think I gave any damn thing away. I got the experiences that I wanted. Now, granted, could the experience have been better for the first party style? Yes, they could have been, but I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like that I did not have fun with the damn console that I paid over $1,000 for two of them. I can't say that as a gamer, and that's the thing that people don't realize. Like when you sit up here and get on a high horse and make it seem like you have like the generation was wasted for you. Yeah, that's a goddamn lie, because it wasn't. You may be disappointed in the way that the generation went out as a whole, but for people to say that this generation was a waste for them, I need you to look in the mirror, because if you bought all these systems for no reason, that's a problem that you need to really rectify.
All right, now I'm gonna rectify it for you right now, my brother. Real quick. I've never looked at this generation as a waste of anything. So,
okay.
You know, this generation is what it is. I mean, if now, what are we going to talk about real quick? We're talking about video games and electronics and stuff like that generations, or we're talking about actual generations and how I feel about, society in a nutshell.
Well, that's different.
Which avenue we're gonna attack?
No. We're only talking video games. But here's the
thing. No, we're only talking video games.
So let me do a shout out real quick to Sin Vendetta, and this ought to get Knox even more hyped up. He says, "Knox, you've been hurt, man. You need a hug." The great Sin Vendetta coming in from the bleacher. That's a shot from the bleachers. But listen,
if you got some big titties, I'll take the hug. If you got big titties, I'll take the hug, baby.
That's great.
What did I
Whatever. Hustle. So Neil Augusto says, "Love crap, Mooch, and Knox."
Big titties?
He says, Hold on a second. Wow. He says, "Love crap, Mooch, and Knox. I buy new for new." And before I do this next super chat, let me give you guys a little Moochism here. So I went to go see, and I know it was the worst X-Men movie that ever came out, well, according to society anyways, X-Men Last Stand, right? So I'm sitting there, it's opening night. I like X-Men. I've always liked it. It's a me problem, okay? I'm sitting there, can't wait. Lights go down, and some guy in the back of the freaking theater goes, "Jean Grey dies at the end." That, my friend, okay, is what our good friend, the great Marty Bison, has now, in 2 super chats, jumped 8 topics ahead. He goes, "Cyberpunk not coming to Game Pass. I'm upset." Marty, that's later in the show. I'm pretty sure that Marty was the guy in the back of the theater. All right, that being said,
shit in the butt fast, didn't they? They want their money.
Crap, we'll get there. Oh, we're gonna get there, crap. So wait, so Sony invests $250 million into Epic Games, okay? And the internet kind of goes crazy at first, and then we find out it's only 1.4%. Because Epic is worth $17.86 billion.
I was giving them 2% too, man.
Well, that's awfully nice of you, Xbot.
I do what I can, man.
But, there's a lot of different things that came out, and I have the article here. I don't want to bore you guys with all of it, but there's a lot of things that are saying that these 2 companies are going to work together. They want to work more dynamically, I believe, on very similar to the concert that they had in Fortnite and the other special events they've had. Sony now wants to work with them hand in hand to do things like that and kind of merge. And that's why we kind of saw this Tim Sweeney of Epic speak very highly of the Sony platform during the UE5 presentation. But what do you guys think? I'll start with Crap. What was your take from the Sony investment there? I mean, it's not a large portion when you look at their overall worth. But they're still making money off that stuff, and it'll probably give them a good opportunity to get some, get some exclusive content. Like, look, like their music's going to be involved in that, so maybe they can use Sony Music, or they can do some kind of concert like that in Fortnite, or some kind of exclusive content for Fortnite, or you know what I mean? Like, to me, it could be almost limitless. There could be an exclusive down the road. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. But what we do know is, and I found it odd, and I've been talking about this a lot lately, only the big third-party developers are all talking about PlayStation 5. I can't really think or find many third-party developers it's outside the smaller ones that are even talking about Xbox at this point. It's so weird to me, Yeah. Even the ones that normally are Xbox related, like Epic or like Bethesda, now they have deals with Sony. It's so weird. But yeah, I think it could
odd.
mean.
Yeah, why would it be weird, Crap? It's not weird.
I definitely think it's weird.
Yeah, I mean,
it's what Sony does, dude.
Well, when you think Bethesda, you always think, at least I do, you always think Microsoft. Like, they always have Fallout on their stage.
Yeah,
that was Dumb Matric. That was Dumb Matric era, brother. That was Dumb
Matric
era. And I'll say that shit proudly, bro. I'm a Dumb Matric dude. I don't give a fuck, bro.
Donnie D.
Like Donnie
D back? For real, my G.
Donnie D's the one that gave this all to
you. You goddamn it. That's right. Mass Effect is the thing because the fucking Dumb Matric dogs.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Donnie
a lot of
people to connect to in the Xbox One box too, man. I'm just saying.
Woo! He did that as well.
Go ahead, Hustle.
Yeah.
These 7 years, you motherfuckers don't want to fuck with the kill. I'm coming now, baby. I'm gonna fucking squeeze.
I don't even hear you now.
All right, no, I don't think he does. Anyway, when I heard the $250 million that Microsoft and Epic are doing,
yes,
my first initial thought was all the music artists on Sony. So I just thought about everybody who's over there on Sony, because if you all may remember, Travis Scott did that Fortnite concert.
Yes, that was huge,
That
Hustle.
went
That was
out.
huge,
That's a great
yeah.
point.
They was to the moon on that one. So I was like, okay, well, they'll probably do more of those. And even a few years prior, you guys may remember you made that. I'm in the hip hop super heavy, and a lot of people were talking about, oh man, Tupac should have his own holographic concert, and they were talking about that. So maybe they won't have the holograms, but this might actually be the next best thing. You have like an NPC that looks like Tupac or Biggie or any other artist who may be gone. Apparently Prince was signed to Sony. I'm not sure how true that is, but I'm looking at this now, and Prince and like Whitney Houston and a lot of them, and they can just like, oh well, here's an artist, put it on to the younger generation, and that'll just drive up the sales on or drive up the streams for their music and different things of that nature.
I don't think you're seeing Whitney on Fortnite, man. I'm just saying.
Well,
I would agree with Xbot on that.
I mean, well, my point is, I mean, they can kind of, have the
but I like where Hustle's going with this.
All of a sudden, the parents would be taking away the controller from the kids. Like, yo, I need to check out Whitney Houston right now. Yo, how do I get in there?
But I guess that's entirely my point.
Never lie, kid.
Well, I guess that's entirely my point. And I made this point on Iron Lords about a week ago. There are more people gaming now than there ever have been, right?
That's fact.
So, and now granted, and it's not even just younger people. It's people our age, and even a few people who are over our age. Optimus Code is what? In his later years. I'm not gonna put his
don't go there.
Optimus Code is 80 years old. He's an AARP member.
Oh, come on, Brad.
Yeah, he is the guy. Look, the guy. I can't help it that he's old. The guy.
Did he disagree with you on something recently?
No. Nah. Yo, Optimus is family, man.
He's ACP. Man.
Hey, Optimus is family, man. But I can't help it if he walks slow like molasses and has a hunch in his back, That's
well, I do want to finish my point, and I have a question actually.
Sorry, Hustle, man.
No, you're straight. For the Sony thing, does that have anything to do with the games? Because we see a lot of their games going to Epic first, or we see a lot of their games going to Epic anyway. We see a lot of games going to Steam as well. That's why I didn't think too much about the game.
I think this was a smart business move.
Supposedly that big deal. That's a big deal.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah. Like that's
So wait, are you alluding, Hustle? But I think your question was a lot of people on Twitter were kind of advocating this, that possibly it could mean that yes, Sony will reap the benefits of some of the stuff that Epic has more than any other platform. However, maybe the Epic Game Store will get exclusive or first rights to Sony's games when they do make their way eventually to PC.
I think that. Well, I don't want to say that they will, because I don't know if y'all remember. Steam had pretty much put something out there where they were like, yeah, you can put your games on Epic, but you got 30 days to bring it over to Steam, or we're not rocking with it.
Not gonna rock with
right.
it.
Yeah. So that could be a thing, and I don't know how much 30 days would help them. But I mean, look, if the only way 30 days would help me on Epic as opposed to going to Steam is if whatever God of War 2, for instance, right?
Yes.
If that's day one, day and date PS5 Epic Steam or Epic Store, that would be the only way I would buy that, because I would just wait for the Steam version because I'm already ingrained in that ecosystem. So for me, like that's what I would do, but I don't know.
Why would we cater to that in the first place? Like, what would you even?
They already cater. What you mean? Till the first day and date?
Adhere to it. Yeah. Like,
no, they're not there
in the first place.
I mean, I figured it.
They don't have to. I mean, I always told people that Xbox did it out of a necessity because they had to do it. They had to do it. So, but that doesn't change the fact that it was a good move for them to make, though, because it made them as a first party more valuable than they actually were. And now we're reaping the benefits of that because we don't have to buy all those games.
You mean we as stockholders?
No, we as gamers that own Xboxes, sir.
Oh,
and I actually do own stock in Microsoft. I actually do.
Forte, as Xbox gamers, we gain nothing.
So hold on, let me do this, guys.
Xbox gamer, what have you gained? Forte, if I was to ask you honestly, in the last 8 years, I'm giving you 2 for granted.
Okay.
All right, not out of 10. I'm giving you 8 for free, 2 for granted.
Okay.
What have you gained in the last 10 years of gaming?
I'll tell you what I gained in the last 6 months. The fact that my child just started playing games and I literally haven't had to buy.
Oh man, that's personal preference. You can't.
No, that's not personal preference.
You asked what he gained personally,
You did
man.
go, Knox.
You just
You did ask him about gay, Knox.
You said, wait, hold on.
That's not
This
pertaining
dude literally just said personal preference. And basically, you said what the hell?
pertaining to gaming, my dude. Pertaining to gaming.
Are you seriously trying to tell me buying games is not like part of gaming? Are you serious?
Well, hold on. All right, so listen, wait, guys. We have listen. I've limited time, and I got a lot of topics. So let me get into this.
Gotcha.
Here's what the long and the short of it. Knox, to answer your question, Forte has gotten a lot in the last couple.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
I didn't even know we were doing a show still.
Right. That's what I was saying. It sounded like it was a one-on-one conversation. So real quick, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. It's nothing like when Brap's in the chat and on the panel. He says, Forte spitting hot fire. Woo! Shout out to Nova. You guys are all going to get to Nova real soon. He says, shout out Mooch, Crap, and Knox. Speaking facts, call me. And Marty Bison says, only on the weekends at Mooch. I'll never spoil anything. Look at those fantastic emotes that Marty Bison's got there of Mooch. Those are fantastic. And then I thought I had one here from Sir Airsurix, man. He says, it only gets Unreal Tournament 4 find PS5 day 1. We'll see about that, X-Man. Yeah, so our next topic, I know I see Slow-Mo. By the way, guys, Slow-Mo is in the waiting room. Slow-Mo, I keep putting you into the booth, but you keep getting popped back to the waiting room.
I was wondering what that sound was, man.
So,
PC.
Go ahead, Brap. While I try to get Slow-Mo, just so you know, Slow-Mo, I am trying to get you in here. I've been trying. Go ahead.
I got a question. I got a question for Hustle. So, Hustle, do you think that part of that deal, that investment, is also, like you said, it's a tie-in with Sony artists, but also maybe like a marketing deal? Maybe some kind of exclusive marketing deal with Fortnite.
Oh, okay. So the Fortnite thing, I've kind of, maybe not inside sources, but I've heard people in our community say that, yeah, they're gonna pretty much put like skins in Fortnite. Now, I don't want to confirm or deny this type of thing, but it would be the smarter move for Sony to be like, here's a Kratos God of War. Y'all remember when Thanos popped off for
yes,
Fortnnite?
Yes,
like,
yes.
All right, you throw Kratos in there. You can throw Nathan Drake in there. You can throw like anybody from the IP. They can do that type of crossover, and that's always a smart move too. PlayStation about to get it. They definitely about to get their money back. Go ahead.
Oh, no doubt about it. Let me say, Slow-Mo, hopefully you can hear us now, buddy. Slow-Mo, I wanted to get your input on the Sony investment before we jump to the next topic. Slow-Mo, are you in here? He is in here. Can you guys hear me? Yes, now we can.
Hey. So, guys, look, I do have to apologize. I had a work emergency. I'm actually driving home right now, so if I sound as bad as 14,
you sound as bad as 14's mic right now.
On the scene of tropical storm.
We got to so Slow-Mo's on his cellular. Slow-Mo, we can hear you. You're fine. But when Slow-Mo speaks, we should let him speak, because if anyone speaks over him, we're going to lose Slow-Mo. So, Slow-Mo, what was your take? We were just discussing Sony's investment of $250 million into the Epic Games company. What do you think this actually means for Sony, and what do you think Epic kind of, gets out of this deal?
Yeah, I really so excited to kind of talk about this today. That's why I was like, you know what, forget getting home. Let me jump on mobile and sound trash.
It's fine, man. It's all about having you here.
But it's something that I haven't talked about for a little while, because it's not necessarily meaning like, I know there are people out on the internet saying stuff like, oh, Sony owns Epic now, and it's just like, no, it's not like really. They own like 1.5% or something like that. It's not that big a deal, but it does kind of show how cozy their business relationship is. They have been working together for years now, and some of the things that Epic has done, like when they started Epic Game Store, and they said to their indie developers, hey, look, use our Unreal Engine for free. It's free up to $1 million of revenue, just try to help out smaller developers. They've been doing that for the China Hero project, which they work with Sony in conjunction with Sony with since 2016. They've been doing that for a while.
Okay.
So it's they have a business relationship there. Sony has published games. There's a game called Ready Set Heroes that's on the Epic Game Store. It's not on Steam. It's just on the Epic Game Store. It's a small little game that they published. It's a multiplayer game, but it is on the Epic Game Store. It's exclusive to it. I think in the future, as far as Sony and the PC platform goes. We're going to see some games go there, but not like a ton of games.
No.
We're not going to see games like for example, Horizon Zero Dawn and Death Stranding are going to Steam as well as Epic Games Store, because those games are too big to just have on a smaller platform. They're too big for that. They're bringing those games over to PC to hit an audience that does not do console gaming, that does not play their games. For their older games, it's like brand new titles. It's like a brand new title for a brand new market. You're not going to minimize that to just Epic Games Store. But for their smaller games, yeah, you're going to see their smaller games have that timed exclusive to Epic Games Store. For Epic, this is great for them as well. As I think it was Hustle that was talking about how they had Travis Scott do a concert. So there's a Sony music division. They're doing movies. They're doing Christopher Nolan movies in Fortnite. They are. They got Sony Pictures. It's a business relationship that's going to go beyond gaming, but people got to stop with the either or. People act like, oh, well, I mean, this is all about music and film. I'm like, no, it's not. It's about gaming too. The majority of the revenue that Sony gets is through gaming. Why the hell would it not be about gaming?
That's right.
So it's about a major collaboration between two companies that have a lot of like interests. Epic wants to go beyond gaming and get into other arenas as well. Sony sees the benefits that Epic has, and they're trying to take advantage of it.
No, and that's a great point. I'm glad you kind of brought that to fruition. Slow-mo, just a couple of jokes in the chat there. Everybody says that you're the 100th caller. You must have won something on the show. So it's
I love it.
It's great to have you here.
That's awesome.
Let me do this. I'm gonna move on to our next topic here, and this is a quick one before we jump to another.
Super chat there, Mooch.
I do. Oh, I certainly do. Let me
got a couple there.
Xbot 448 says Knox owns stock in Haterade. I know what it's all that one coming, right? And Basement Radio Arcade Podcast says Xbot 448 once did a full frontal naked spread
59 shares
under the name Mike Honcho. True story. Also, Slow-mo called the Epic deal prior on Brap. Oh, a little Brap plug. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, what Enrique didn't say is he actually has that spread framed in his gaming room right now.
Wow. Actually, I do. It's right next to my The Last of Us Part 2 poster.
Shout out to One Typical Latino. He says, I just got out of work now. I just missed the start of the show. One Typical, that's fine. You're here now. HD Gamer, who's here, he said, could the $250 million also be to ensure the biggest third game engine, UE5, is optimized to allow devs to more easily take advantage of the PS5 strengths, e.g. I.O. Example, I.O. I don't know, guys. That's a great question before we jump to the next topic. I don't necessarily see Epic doing something, even though they're business partners with Sony, to not sabotage, but make things more difficult for someone else they do tremendous amounts of business with, right, guys?
But Mooch, here's the question that nobody's asking. Like, we all know that the Unreal Engine is kind of like a favorite engine within Xbox or whatnot. Like, what's going to happen with that relationship? Because now with Sony there basically owning like 1.4% or anything, are they privy to like the information that's going back and forth between Epic and Xbox as well? Do they get
Xbox,
all the paperwork and stuff?
Xbox, these are questions that I think we can all speculate on, but I got to be honest with you. That's interesting because UE5, as you said, not only Xbox, I mean, that's a very powerful tool for developers. I think everybody would agree with that.
UE4 was one of the most popular engines out there, when it comes to developers, stuff like that. So you would figure the next iteration, and that's the biggest question to me. I know a lot of people are thinking on the Sony side of things, but I'm like, damn, like Epic and Xbox, like they kind of work close together with games with that engine. Like, what does that mean for Xbox and Epic? Kind of like their business relationship now. And will Sony be able to kind of look into the paper? Oh, this is what they're doing. Oh, that's how they do that. Oh, okay. Like, You know what I'm saying? That's my question right there, man.
You know, shout out to Nova and
they can.
I don't think so either. Nova
That's
says,
a huge conflict of interest.
And I'm not sure here. I'm not saying this. Nova in the chat saying Tencent, who's a big company that's been coming up in the news lately, has a 40% stock in Epic. Do. Which is a massive. I mean, that's just short of majority. Our
buddy Jess Gordon thinks that Tencent's trying to take over all of gaming.
Well,
they are.
They're
gonna buy McDonald's next.
You know, there's a lot, and that's interesting because I guess, you know, depending on the amount of money that they will throw at certain developers or certain publishers, etc., you've got to stop and look at it. Where I think the gaming community as a whole would know that one person owning everything is definitely a very bad thing. It's a very bad thing. It's not good for the companies themselves. It's not good for the developers, and it's certainly not good for the consumers, the gamers, us. Let me do this, guys. I do want to bring this up. This was kind of late breaking before the show started, was that CD Projekt Red has no plans, in quotes, for Cyberpunk 2077 on Game Pass. I mean, now myself personally, I got to be honest with you. This is my show, but I'll just say that to me, that's a no-brainer, right? I mean,
it's a no-brainer, and thank goodness they get out in front of that quickly, right?
Right, crap.
Because like people were like, even Jeffrey Grubb was writing about, look for something like that game to be in Game Pass very quickly after release. Like, come on, this studio put how many years into this game? How much money they're going to use to advertise it? It's going to be huge. Like, it's not going to go in Game Pass day one. It's not going to go in Game Pass anytime soon. You know, it took Witcher 3, 5 years to go into Game Pass?
Yeah.
Like, this seriously could be would have been detrimental for the sales of this game and the studio itself, right?
Absolutely.
Like, if it's going to Game Pass day one, well, that throws the whole question in the $60 worth it for a game or not, you know.
And they're trying to go up right now, crap. They're trying to move it to a $70 tag.
Yeah, because you had Xbox fans, like a lot of them go, I'm just going to get it in Game Pass. You know, it's going to come there pretty quick. You know, they're probably banking on making millions of sales from Xbox. You know, not everything is about Game Pass or works well in Game Pass. So I think, you know, if you're going to support a game or you think a game looks great, buy it. You know, It just doesn't make sense. Like, it never made sense when people were like, oh, it's going to go right to Game Pass. Why? Because they got a marketing deal. They made an Xbox console that said Cyberpunk on it. Like, that doesn't make any sense as to why that would go into Game Pass. You know how much money, and not even just money, but that could also conflict the sales on the PS4 because people are like, well, is it really, you know, if it's going to Game Pass day one, is it really worth the $60? You know, like, again, it brings up a lot of questions. And again, I think Game Pass is fine, you know, but I just think that it's questionable, you know, where some of these bigger games come into play, you know.
Be careful, crap. It's not fine. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
just be careful.
I mean, there's that bicycle game, right? That guy's like, we would have normally sold 25 copies, but we sold 75 copies. Thank God for Game Pass, right? There's like 75 reviews on that or stars on it or whatever. Like, hardly anybody's even played it.
Well, that's the other thing, and I mean, and, you know, we don't really have to harp on this for too long. You know, the other issue that I was just kind of bringing up is we've seen where time and time again, I think the last time we brought this debate up, guys, was when we talked about Red Dead Redemption 2 going into Game Pass. But again, everybody kind of played it. There was more hype before it was in Game Pass than when it was in Game Pass. And it is, I believe it's still there for a short period of time now. But my point being is that, like, has it been a while now? It's been since Red Dead that we've seen a really big game. I know everyone's like, oh, like, everyone's making a big deal. Fallout 76 is there. I'm the only one that I think me and Jez Gordon were the only two that liked Fallout 76, and Sully. There's like three of us. You know, so I mean, that doesn't really count as a big boy game going in there because it was considered a flop. I just haven't seen anything going in there. The true value, again, I would like to restate this. The true value to Game Pass is the first-party studio games. So I think Game Pass is going to become a true value to a lot of people, especially once Xbox Game Studio starts cranking out games first-party. But until then, like, I have Game Pass. I have Ultimate Game Pass. I have it till 2022, and I very rarely use it. Because you know, when it comes, let's take CD Projekt Red, for example, right, with Cyberpunk. Like, I'm not even going to wait the 3 months. Let's say it goes to Game Pass in 3 months. Like Forte was saying before with Destiny and other examples, I'm not waiting 3 months. Like, right? So while all you guys are playing CD Projekt Red's newest big game, Cyberpunk 2077, I'm going to sit here with my arms folded and be like, I'm waiting for Game Pass. No, I'm not. I'm not. It's what have you done for me lately? And that's the thing that's interesting. A lot of us are on this like ecosystem where we all talk every day on social media. We're like, it's great, it's great, it's great. The value, it's great. All these buzzwords, value, value, value. Of course, it does have the value. It's great for the kids, right? If you're a family, it's outstanding. It's great. But like, if you're this hardcore gamer, which all of us are, even in the chat, I question when you're like, well, no, I'm gonna wait. You know, Game Pass they'll get Fallout 5 a year and a half after it comes out. I'll wait. Why? Why would you do that to yourself? Like, what are you talking about?
Yo, dude, so when it comes, I love my Game Pass. Like, I love like that they keep adding games. There's games I play in it and stuff like that. When it comes down to it, though, I know first party is guaranteed, right?
Right, absolutely, and that's the value, Xbox. That's the value.
When it comes to third party, yeah, that is the value because now, like, say a new Forza comes out, new Halo comes out this year, right? I know I don't have to put $120 to that right away. So all of a sudden, I'm looking over at my say NBA 2K because I'm a big basketball guy. I'm like, usually I skip over every other year when it comes to NBA, but now I'm not putting $120 over here for like Halo and Forza. I got the money to spend that NBA over there. Like I when it comes to third party and stuff like that, if you're really interested in the game, then buy the game. Don't wait for it to go into like Game Pass. And then if it goes into Game Pass like a couple months down the road, you already had a couple months with this game playing it as much as you want. Everything like that. Don't get pissed off afterwards.
No, Xbox, you're right. You make a great point. But Xbox, what do we see people say all the time on both sides of the fence, right? It doesn't matter if you're on PlayStation or your Xbox, right? I got a game backlog that's unbelievable. I got this and that. I got blah, blah, blah. So, like, even sometimes when I see a small indie game go into Game Pass, that it is something that I had my eye on, but I didn't apply for the review code, or I didn't go buy it or something. Like, I turn around and I'm like, should I play, Tiddlywinks, right? Should I play that right now, or do I go play the?
Into that.
I'm not into it. That's my point. I'm trying to say I got so many games I haven't even touched yet that I do want to play. That's the thing with Game Pass for us, right?
According to a legendary YouTuber, that's a you problem right there.
Well, I think it's an us problem, and we all mask it. Yeah.
What was that game everybody was talking up? It was a classic game that came back, a beat 'em up.
It was Streets of Rage 4.
Everybody was talking about that.
Oh, I gotta have it, crap.
Yeah, for those 3 days.
Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah, you love it. Did you beat it?
That game is great.
Of course you didn't beat it. Of course you didn't. Everybody talks about it. Oh my God, it's going to Game Pass. It's going to be great. I can't wait to get home and download. What do? Everybody goes home. They download it. They take a quick snapshot. They put it on Twitter, and then they delete it.
That's it. Destiny 2.
And then they go to then they go back to the game they've been playing.
Mooch, Warzone happened, and then The Last of Us Part 2.
Of course. That's my point. We all do this. You know what I mean? It was so funny. And shout out to Salt. Saltiest Gaming's in the chat. Salt goes, I downloaded some Fallout 76 to see what it was all about. 2 minutes later, I deleted it. Of course you did.
Oh, boy.
It's what most of us do with all the Game Pass games. Like, you just download it. You're like, oh, okay, that's neat. Let me take a picture and put it on Twitter real quick. Look, Mooch played this. Delete.
Hey, Mooch, right? Did you delete Fallout 76 as well?
No, I own that.
Yeah, no, I know. You were a big supporter.
That's right. I was there day one, brother. Okay, that being said, guys,
who's yelling?
Who the hell's yelling? It's Friday night, for God's sakes. Let's take it easy. Guys, let me go here. I want to go to Hustle. Hustle, listen, I think your artistic ability is through the roof, man. So, like, I always say this about you. Look at the PS5 art for the box art dropped, right? We see it. People are like, I'm okay with it. Some people think it looks great. Some people think it looks okay. Some people think they should have got away from the blue box, which actually, believe it or not, I'm kind of in that camp myself. What was your take when you saw that?
A lot of them in storage, man.
Right.
Well. They just based it off the way that the console looked. I don't have no issue with it. A lot of people made a big fuss about the only on PlayStation thing being gone. Not me. I just hope. You know what? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. The box looks fine, and I'm gonna actually pose another statement to you all. How long is it? Or do you guys think that these games will come to PC? Because like even with that whole when that whole Epic thing happened and then that box art dropped and then the only on PlayStation sound was missing, a lot of people are speculating that these games are going to go to Epic.
Oh yeah. They're all going to PC.
Okay, so how long do you think it's a day and date thing?
No.
And we're clearly speculating.
Let me clear that up. Hell no.
I think 3 years is. I think 3 years is way too long, and I think 1 year. I think day and date is too fast. I think within the first, I'll say 6 to 12 months, you'll see it on PC within a year.
I think it's after the 1 year. I can't specify 1 year, 7 days, and 4 hours later, but I can tell you right now, I believe it won't be 6 months. It'll be a full year on console exclusive.
Anywhere in between that 6 months and a year.
Okay.
That's my take. And the thing is, and listen, this is something that me and Crap said a long time ago. I have no problem with Xbox putting their games on PC. But there was no reason to put it on their day and date. And Sony knows that. And I know Slow-Mo, and I know that Hustle. I know all you guys that have been on this show, even as guests, you guys know I've said this time and time again. Hustle, when you go to your local, your favorite dine-in place, your favorite restaurant, they got a dish that you tell people about. If I come visit you, be like, Mooch, listen. Like, I'm just saying this because I know you live down in the Maryland area, right? You're going to say, Mooch, they got the best. This is what my friends say down there. They go, you got the best crab cakes, man. You got to eat this. You got to try this dish. It's crazy, right? And I eat that, and I'm like, man, I wish I could get that up here in New York. They have something similar, but it ain't like how they make it here. Sony knows that they have that dish, okay? They know that they have that on their menu. So Sony can dictate when and how they distribute their game. Okay,
dude. Now I know why I'm always hungry.
So am I, dude.
Right? I was just about to say the same thing.
I should have been a maitre d' instead of doing this show. Listen, my point being is this. You know, I got it. That's the thing. So when Forte says 6 months, that's the only reason I think he's more closer to accurate on the 12-month part of it, 12 to 18 months. Because what they're doing right now is you're seeing Death Stranding, okay? You're seeing Horizon. Like he said, the 3-year thing, that's them putting their big toe into the deep end of the pool, right? They're testing it out. Yeah. They're just testing it out. But realistically speaking, we all know, just like when you see all these folks that are on Twitter that are reporting game sales, all these guys that do pie charts and everything else, okay? Literally, after the first 30 days, there's a massive drop. Then after 60 days, there's another massive drop, right? Forte, you'll back me up on that. So my point, right? So my point is Sony wants to completely and utterly squeeze that sponge till there's no water left. Then what they're going to do is re-dip the sponge into the water and hand it to the PC crowd and start squeezing all over again. That is a smart business move because you can't get that water that's in the sponge unless Sony gives it to you. And that's why Microsoft, believe it or not, they may not have the desirable IP that you guys are all talking about right now, but I believe some of it will be coming. They have some desirable IP. They could have done a 6-month in Game Pass and on PC if they wanted to be more aggressive than Sony, or even 3-month. There was no reason. Doing it day and date, it was really just kind of like, it feels like, and if you guys don't believe me, look at Ori and the Will of the Wisps. A great game. I loved it. I beat it. I enjoyed it. But the player rate and the numbers were way lower than when they came out with just a regular sales pitch like they did for the first one. You know, and that's just a really, that's the only example. We don't have many examples to go by because there's not a lot of first-party Microsoft games, right, to discuss right now. But that's just one prime example.
Look at Gears 5.
Gears 5 died off, you know what I mean? It died off before the common cold you catch this month. You know what I'm saying?
No Gears slander in here. Please.
I'm sorry, Hustle, but you know it's not.
Hey, Hustle still plays.
Hustle,
he gets
I definitely do.
He's got people online that play, man.
You know Hustle's getting dragged into that lobby. He's like, oh, man, not again, but okay.
Definitely did, though. But I see y'all. I definitely see y'all.
You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. And again, it's nothing bad. All I'm saying is Microsoft could have had their cake and ate it too. Why they went this way? They're doing this whole like we're consumer friendly thing. Not really buying it.
Look at what the PC crowd says about Xbox because of day and date and stuff like that. They gained a whole bunch of mind share there when it comes to the PC crowd, brother.
Well, if you look at what they do, right? The PC crowd doesn't really like Microsoft. What they look at Sea of Thieves, right? It was they're saying that most of the sales from Steam were people that already had the game previously on Windows Store, but they just don't like Windows, right? So they would rather buy the game than play it on for $1 or whatever on Game Pass on PC. So like so many people don't even, you know what I'm saying? It's just such a strange thing to me that people hate Microsoft so bad that they would rather spend more money to play it elsewhere than to be tied into that ecosystem or whatever. So I always thought that was kind of strange.
Hey, Crap, can I speak to that?
Yo, Crap,
Yeah.
real quick, I'll tell you why that is. And me being a somewhat recently converted PC player over the past year, I can tell you why someone would decide, you know what, I'm just going to spend this 30, 40, whatever dollars and get it on Steam. It's because you know it's going to work. The Windows Store, the Microsoft Store on PC is doo-doo droppings. It's awful. It is. Look. Let me tell you how bad it is. The Master Chief Collection, they're rolling it out on PC. Every single release, from Halo Reach to Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2, have all had major issues on the Game Pass / Microsoft Store version of the game. All of the Steam versions, no issues.
Yeah,
and I lived it.
But wait, it's
I
slow-mo.
really had to uninstall and reinstall the game multiple times because I couldn't get any matchmaking.
Why, Slow-mo, can I ask you Slow-mo, from a technical standpoint, and Slow-mo loves this. Every time I keep making Slow-mo higher and higher on the echelon of it. He's like, Mooch, stop making me the king of software engineering. But listen, I gotta, right, Slow-mo, I gotta ask you.
I am the IT director today. Yes.
Yes. So, Slow-mo, my question is why is it they're doing that? Like, why is it when you're, and I'm not a developer, I don't pretend to be one, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn last night. My point being is, how the hell is it that it works on Steam? Like you said yourself, the Halo Master Chief Collection. I downloaded it when it was on Ultimate Game Pass, and I couldn't get the damn thing to start up. Steam works like a champ.
You know, one is also I'll start with probably the most common sense thing is that it's Valve's experience in this is so much greater that they've worked the kinks out so well. And I know Microsoft isn't brand new to PC, but it seems like it wasn't until recently they started to put an actual focus on it. There's too many, I would say there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. There's no leadership on how they are implementing things on the PC side. And I'll use a great example of that with how voice chat is. So all PC players who play any Xbox games know that you might as well just use Discord like we're doing right now to talk to people, because unless you want to pull your hair out, you don't want to touch the Xbox apps. They have 3 separate applications to do mostly the same things, and all 3 of them are really good at one thing and suck at everything else. Yep. They are out here. They have the beta for the Xbox app that they are promoting and like, hey, try out the new Xbox app. It's amazing. No, it's not. It's not amazing.
It's not.
When I get invites to games, they don't come to me on PC. Why is that? But I can get invites on the Xbox console companion.
Right.
Or I can do party chat on that. Then they got the game. Now the game bar is good. I like the game bar.
I love game bar.
But the game bar doesn't do
the game bar's nice.
Either. Yeah, it's nice, but it also doesn't do everything either. And you can get invites to the game bar, but trying to figure out how to get an Xbox Live party going is like rocket science. It's crazy. Yep. Like, why do you have all these different applications and none of them do what the Xbox console does? So it's like it's all these kind of issues that come up, and half the time when it comes to installing your games, you don't know where to install it from. All of them can install your game. The Xbox console companion, the Microsoft Store, they all can do it. But depending, or the Game Pass one through the Xbox app. But depending on where you start the install, kind of determines how big or bad your issues are going to be. It's just,
it kind of sounds.
Do you have all these different?
It kind of sounds to me, Slow-mo, a lot like the situation that's going on. Right, they've got xCloud, right? Then they're doing Game Pass, and then they got 2 consoles coming out, and then they tried to do Mixer, right? And as you can see, Mixer got cut. And
Mixer, what's that?
Right, what's
Yeah.
Mixer,
Who?
right? Mixer who?
Yeah.
And
Who?
like my whole point is just kind of like I think that when it comes down to it, now they're doing the same like you said. They have 3 different applications that really should be condensed into one on the PC.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
I it's funny, you can't actually get this information out of Mike Ibarra, but you could sometimes when he tweets, I almost can hear the I mean, Slow-Mo, you get it. You're in that world, right? You can almost hear the his frustration, right? Because he wanted it to work.
Burn bridges.
Right.
Yeah, he wants it to work, but he sees the issues. He doesn't want to burn bridges, but he's honest. He's honest about how things are, and he'll come out and be like, he'll be vague about it, but everyone can read between the lines and know what he's talking about. And it's if they keep talking about how they want to be serious about PC platform, PC gaming, if you really want to be serious about this, if you really want to be a serious competitor, look at what your competition is doing and just emulate what they're doing, for God's sake. Just do that.
I completely agree.
You got Epic Games Store. They all do this better than you. They started after you. How did you let them lap you like that? That doesn't make any sense.
Look at the game. Look at the games Epic Game Store gives away. Honestly, I got news for you. I know you want nothing to do with PC gaming, but you should just take your PC, make sure you have an Epic account, and just keep clicking free, because they're great games. I don't care if you play them or you don't.
I saw that they're like crushing it. I saw some articles about it. And the way they do it is exclusives. They give out great games, and
unbelievable.
Like time content and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it works. People that say that stuff doesn't work. I mean, it clearly works. I just, PC gaming isn't for me. No.
And I'm not. Believe me, I'm not selling you on that. I'd rather sell you on Stadia. No, never mind. It's a different show. Oh, hold on a second, crap. Shout out to Bookster1919. He says if released on PC, they hold back game design. Now, Bookster, I don't know if you were here earlier, but we got a good 25 minutes on that early on in the show. And shout out to Sarksman again. He says Microsoft games do not optimize well on PC. Couldn't have said it better ourselves. Now, I want to go to Xbot448, who is our resident Halo expert.
Yes, sir.
Xbot, I've told you this last week. I told you the week before. I'm going to say it again tonight, and I'm going to say it the next 2 weeks till we get to July 23rd. Myself personally, I can sit here and say all the things I want to say, but I am very excited for Halo Infinite. I'm not going to lie to you. So
somebody timestamped that, by the way.
Yes, right. Yes, timestamp. I can see somebody's making a shirt as we speak. Listen, Xbot, they said they're going to focus on the campaign, and Crap will kind of chime in on this in a second too. One of the things that Gears 5, I think, failed miserably at E3 last year was when they showed the multiplayer, they didn't show any campaign. Again, learn from your mistakes. I don't understand why we have to keep saying Microsoft needs to learn from their mistakes when they've been in gaming since 2001. But nonetheless, what I'm saying to you is this is great news, isn't it? I mean, you have to be pumped because the multiplayer, listen, someone like myself that tips my cap and I say, listen, the multiplayer Halo, it's already great, right? I want to see the campaign, and they're going to focus on the campaign. When you heard that coming from the Halo community, what did you think?
Well, when it comes down to it, right? Anytime a new Halo comes out, their big focus, their big unveiling always has to do with the campaign. Now, when Halo 5 came out, they chose a lock mission. It was on St. Helios. Yes. And that's where they went in and showed the game for the first time. Now, with Halo Infinite, it's pretty much the most important thing because a lot of people out there, of course, there is a part of the community that when it comes to Halo 5 multiplayer, they don't like the Spartan abilities and what the hell's up with Warzone and it's pay to win. Warzone's pay to win. And it's like, well, no, it's not. But calm down. But at the end of the day, people want to know what's going on with the campaign. They want to know, how extensive the campaign is going to be in comparison to the last iteration. And they want, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people within the Halo community that even didn't get an Xbox One that have their eyes on Halo Infinite right now. When it came to them showing Master Chief's armor, that was a huge thing in the Halo community. I know my brother, the Don out there, He doesn't like the new look. I was like, it's okay. I can see them calming down the armor, because if you look at kind of like today's aesthetic, what goes today, it's a sleeker, slimmer, smoother kind of like design. That's what's out there in the world right now.
I'm okay with new X-Bot. That's fine.
Yeah, but at the end, you want to know what's going on with the campaign. All the rumors circle around. Well, is it going to be open world? Are you going to be able to go left and right on the Halo ring and go to different areas? What do they mean by discovery, going out into the Halo ring and discovery? What's that all about? So all the swirling of the information, it's all around the campaign. That's what people want to see. So It's good that they're going to go in depth with that. And I think it's the right move. The multiplayer is going to sell itself no matter what.
That's a good point.
When it came to Halo 5, all the bashing about Halo 5, the majority of the bashing was all around the campaign. When it came to the multiplayer is what held that game up for as long as it did. Let's be real. So, 343, they got the multiplayer unlocked. People want to know if they can bring that same emotion and everything that was in Halo 4's campaign. Can they make a complete package? And starting with the campaign, that's the best thing to do right there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ed. Go ahead.
Yo, what up?
No. I want to always go back, and my fault for timing to cut you off, but I always go back to this interview that Bonnie Ross did with Ryan McCaffrey. It was at some type of GDC or something. I'm not sure, but
it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. She was like, pretty much, it's time for us to put it together. And I don't want to speculate, but I think now she gets that message, because if she fails this time, like, I don't think that she would be fired, but I think Halo will be taken away from them, and I don't think she wants that to happen. So
facts.
I definitely I got confidence that the single player going to be on something. Now, granted, I play a lot of multiplayer for Halo, but then the one that I really played was even though it was made by Bungie, which was Halo 3, which drops on July 14th.
That's a lot of people's crowning jewel in the multiplayer. Like,
it is.
Yeah, that joint fire. But I think she will do. I don't want to say the impossible, but I think that she will rebound from Halo 5's story. Now, I never had a chance to play it, so I'm not going to speak on it. But I just hear that it was super bad, and you only played for.
It wasn't super bad. It was mediocre for Halo standards, is what it was. Okay.
From what I understand, it was misleading. Correct.
No, the marketing was misleading.
I'm sorry, I need to rephrase that.
The marketing was misleading, but when you got into the game, and there was a few gripes, especially when it comes to like Locke and Chief's interaction when they fought each other. That I listened to the Halo community. They're like, Master Chief, he was taken away from his family at 6 years old. He was injected with all types of experiments, and all he was trained to fight from 6 years old. How the hell can Locke coming in, as like a standard military recruit, 18 and stuff like that, didn't live his whole life, being trained to be the world's kind of like ultimate weapon? Like, how the hell did he stand up against Master Chief? I agree with that.
You just explained Master Chief as Captain America without the personality. That was fantastic, right?
I was going to say Captain America on steroids. Yeah,
right. Okay. Exactly. You know what I mean? No, I'm with
Captain America wasn't kidnapped either, bro.
Well, he was not kidnapped. He did it voluntarily, but nonetheless, shout out to Bookster 1919. He's back again. He says, what I was trying to say is if PS5 releases an exclusive on PC 6 to 12 months later, then game design will be held back for PS5, just like Series X. I don't see that. That's not what we're saying. I think what we're just trying to say.
I disagree about that too.
Yeah, that doesn't hold much water. No, Bookster, I think you're missing the point here. All we're saying here is we're literally just talking about a release date. That's what me and Forte were talking about. We're just saying basically, when do we think a PS5 game that has not been held back technically, okay, that's only for PS5, when would it release hypothetically to PC?
Well, speaking of Forte, like don't forget that Forte wanted to chime in on the Halo thing as well. I want to hear what Forte has to say about
Forte,
that. Forte,
please.
You really want to know what I? Okay, look, man, I agree. I'm excited. Let me clear my throat so I don't sound like slow-mo.
Let me clear my throat.
I don't want to sound like slow-mo on his mic right now. But listen, bro.
You know, get all the shade out now.
You know I am, bro.
This is the only time I will sound worse than you on a podcast. Do the best you can. Get all that, because once it's over, it's over.
Okay, got you. So moving on from robotic slow-mo. Listen, man. I've been saying this for the last year. This is the last chance that they got for me when it comes to Halo.
Yes. 3 is the
benchmark for what I expect out of a Halo game, and then we got 4. 4 was, I love the story. That
story was great.
The multiplayer was trash.
The multiplayer was a ripoff of Call of Duty, man,
and that's why, and that's why it was trash. Then 5 came out. I'm with you. 5 had a great multiplayer. That story, they do themselves it wasn't bad. They just didn't do themselves no favor. You keep saying that this is the great chance for them to put the story together. But listen, the story is what brings people in. The multiplayer is what keep people there. And that multiplayer, for some strange reason, now especially with them going down this games as a service, open world, trying to be something like Destiny type gameplay, I'm a little worried about what this multiplayer is going to be. That's why I think it's a lot easier. And you know I don't say that lightly, Xbox, because you know how much we love Destiny, and we know that's the one thing that Destiny struggles with the most. They got a phenomenal multiplayer, but boy, do they not support that multiplayer in the way that it needs to be promoted. Because it's utter garbage sometimes. And that is the problem that I think we're going to see with Halo. I hope that doesn't happen, because when I hear them say we're going to dive deep into the campaign, absolutely, you should want to dive deep into that campaign, because that's what people are going to buy the game for. They're going to buy it for the campaign. When you don't even mention the multiplayer being shown at all, I'm a little worried, because
that's a good. You know what,
the game
Forte?
is literally 6 months out.
You know, it's crazy, and it's crazy because I just said what I said, but and this is why Forte is just amazing on the show. You know, I gotta say, if you are selling something, right? I mean, I gotta be honest with you, and I hate to keep making it. Maybe it's because I'm hungry, but when I go out to my favorite steak place in New York, I gotta be honest with you, right? Right? I don't care if they've got. I don't care what they've got. I don't care if they have an apple pie. I don't care if they have a creme brulee at the end, But the waitress or waiter will not let me leave till I hear about the dessert.
Yo, guys, check this out.
My point is, why would they not talk about the multiplayer, even though it is great, Xbox? It is a valid point by Forte.
No, and here's the thing. Like, this is what I'm looking at, and this is just me thinking of it. My perfect plan would be to focus on the campaign when it comes to this event. What better way to show people the multiplayer than by opening up that beta for that week that they're doing all these like indie demos and stuff like that? You drop the Halo
That's them talking about it, though. That's them talking.
That's them talking about it. Yeah.
If they do that, I'm 100% with you.
Oh, you're good.
But if we come out of this event and but if they come out of this event, seriously, they come out of this event and we have nothing about the multiplayer, I'm worried.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Hustle.
If 5 was so good, why would you be worried? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
but do we want? But Hustle, hold on.
Because 4 single player was good, and look what 5 did.
Okay,
that's why I'm worried.
I had a question.
No, I mean that's
an answer.
That's a damn good point. But not just that, but I have another fear. I don't want a carbon copy. I want this is. Exactly. I don't know if Xbox gets this. But it's been 7 years. We put our time into this generation. We want new. Okay? We don't want what worked before or old or carried over or refreshed. You know what I mean? We want new. So don't get me wrong, Hustle. I'm really glad you brought that up, because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, man, if 5's multiplayer was so good, they could just copy that, bring it over, put the new armor guard on. We're good to go. That's not the case. That's not the case.
Well, they already said they're adding stuff to the multiplayer when it comes down to it, the different game modes, stuff like that. So I feel like, you know, when it comes down to it, though, the biggest gripe when it came to Halo 5, from the Halo community, from the gamer community, all the way around, was the campaign. So
Absolutely.
when you're going in with a new iteration, you're coming in with the next title in the franchise, you want to kind of like calm the nerves of the people for the biggest gripe that they had with the previous installment, and that would be the story. All right.
So yep. So
I agree. I actually agree with Xbox on that.
Holy crap! Hold on. Yo, I almost got struck by lightning, man.
Oh, Christ. Safe out there, dog.
Look, I agree. I agree with Xbox, and this is why. The issue, they know what the issues were with the previous game. It was the campaign. So this is why you come into your marketing, your ramp up of your marketing for the game, your next installment, actually talking up the campaign and trying to deal with the issues that people had with it and that people are afraid of with Halo Infinite. Because honestly, I'm not concerned about the multiplayer. Because the multiplayer for Halo Guardians was good and I enjoyed it. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about the campaign. And that's where they are focusing on, because that's what people had issue with. I'm not going to knock them for addressing an issue. And just because they're not talking about it in July when the game comes out, November? Whenever the Series X launches, doesn't mean they're not going to talk about the multiplayer at some point.
Okay. So go ahead. No, you go ahead. I talk a lot.
No. Okay. So I remember Xbox saying, and I guess maybe, I don't know how true this is, but they said they was going to do something every month. So them not mentioning the multiplayer in July, it's okay by me, but as long as they mention it in August in terms of like the rollout to it, if they want to promote it at a separate time, like I'm actually okay with that. So if they want to get the single player out the way first, then by all means. And if they want to do the multiplayer different, because I thought am I wrong in saying that they wanted to do something every month? Because I could have swore I heard them say that.
I've been trying to tell
Xbox 2020.
Yeah. I've been trying to tell Xbox fanboys that as well. They're like, oh no, they were skipping this month. I was like, no, the hell they weren't. They said every month they were going to do something, and they said in June it was going to be different than Inside Xbox. It was definitely different. Nothing.
So
that's what I was questioning.
So I'm gonna break this down just for myself, because you guys are all 100% right in what you're saying. There is no reason to panic right now, especially right when it's going. We're going into when they're going to be talking about this game the most. But for me, being a true, I ain't gonna say true Halo, but just being a Halo fan in general, I remember that this game, Halo 5, they showed off that multiplayer a year ahead of time. Remember when they did betas after Christmas and you could get into the beta for the new year, and they ran 2 or 3 separate betas for Halo 5's multiplayer literally almost a whole year before it came out. I'm expecting, just like you saying, like everybody in here is saying, the multiplayer wasn't the problem. That's because they put such a focus on the multiplayer and let people get all of the iron all those bugs out of that multiplayer over the course of a full year. I just, for myself, knowing that that's what they did with the last one, and literally coming up to 4 to 5 months away from the game coming out and not have heard anything about the multiplayer, that's what worries me the most, because it's not the same cadence they used the last time. I understood the single player, because single player has story elements, so you really don't want to talk about single player as much, because that's the meat and potatoes of the game that you're going to play when you first get it. But multiplayer is the same for everybody. It's the one thing that can't be spoiled. You show it, and this is what you have. So that's what worries me about it. Like I said, that's just me. Hopefully they knock it out of the park and we end up seeing something, or the game is just phenomenal. And I think the game will be phenomenal, but it's not Halo I'm worried about. I'm just worried that 343 is the one that's working on it. Until I see a competent game from 343, because Halo has a lot to still give. Everybody on this panel will tell you that Halo is one of those beacons of light that Microsoft still has, that if they execute on properly, it can go to heights unseen by most any other game. But 343 is the one that has to build that game, and they haven't shown over the course of this generation that they're up to that task. Maybe it's going to change, but we have to wait and see what's going to happen with that.
I'll tell you right now, I think the one thing we take away from this conversation is that 343 is kind of, I think, unofficially on notice by the gaming community. And I'm not saying that myself. But I mean, realistically, I think Forte's right. And Xbox being the fan that he has been all these years for Halo, I think even, I don't know if we've actually heard Xbox say those exact words. I don't think he will, and that's fine. He doesn't have to. But I think that it's time for 343 to show us who they think they are. You know what I mean? Who they think they are, not who we think they are, who they think they are. If you think you're great and you're 500, 600 people strong and you've got an endless sum of money behind you, well, man, let's see it. Because, it's funny, Knox used an example earlier, and I happen to be on the butt end of that joke because I'm a Mets fan, but he wasn't wrong. He's not wrong. The Yankees and the Mets have the same amount of money. And the point of the matter is that the Yankees just spend it better. I hate to say that, but it's true. And I want to see that if all this money that Microsoft spent on 343, I want to see if it's been put to good use. And Xbox, what do you think?
Well, just real quick on what you're saying about like me saying that or whatnot. The way I look at it, and again, this is a personal thing. The way absolutely. I look at it,
yes,
Halo 4 is one of the best stories I ever played in Halo. My opinion.
I enjoyed it as well.
It had emotion. So when it comes down, that was made by 343.
But was there a little Bungie remnants in there?
No. That was made by 343. 343 took over when it came to DLC for Halo Reach. All right, that's when they took over. Like that was all 343. All right,
that's the truth.
All right. So when it came down to it, that was 343. They made a quality story. They fell off a cliff when it came to the multiplayer. They heard a bunch of feedback when it came to the multiplayer. So when they went into Halo 5, the multiplayer was great, and now people are questioning the story again. They have the talent there. They just have to bring both the story and the multiplayer together in one product, one game.
And Xbox, you know what? I got to give you credit. You've said that a few weeks now, and I think you're spot on.
I said it a few years now.
Well, you have. But, we're getting closer to July 23rd, so everybody's really trying to put this puzzle together. Guys, we've had an awesome show here. I've kept everybody here for way
Mooch,
over
that's the only way to get me over 9 o'clock.
Man. I know.
Halo right on the
listen,
end, man.
It's strategic, but nonetheless, I'm going to go in reverse order. I want to say thanks to the amazing chat. Thank you guys for the super chat. Thank you to the new subscribers and members of the channel. Please, guys, the join button is right over the description. Please do hit the like button before you leave. Tweet it out. Hit the subscribe button. There's 8,000 of you guys watching the show a week. Hit the subscribe button, please. That being said, let me go in reverse order. I want to say thank you so much to Slow-Mo Backslap. First reason is I really, truly appreciate people with hard work ethic, okay? And Slow-Mo has that. Dude works like unbelievable hours, still a family man, still finds time to game, still finds time to make amazing videos, and still finds time to guest on people's shows besides his own. So, Slow-Mo, thank you for calling in. I don't care about the mobile phone. I'm just happy that you were able to make it, buddy. Let people know where they can find you.
You can find me on my own YouTube channel, Slow-Mo Backslap. You can also find me on Twitter. I do videos about games of all platforms. Doesn't matter what platform it is. If it's fire, I talk about it. I appreciate the invite again, Mooch. And you're right, man. Like you saying all that, man, I gotta start thinking, man, when am I gonna go to sleep? Because I really, I feel like I don't sleep enough.
Yo, it's so funny. Slow-Mo, you were
looking at all these Red Bulls.
Slow-Mo was like, he's like, I'm hungry and I'm tired. Damn, because of you, Mooch. That's not, it's my fault. I take full responsibility. So, thanks for being here, Slow-Mo. I appreciate that. All of his information is up on the screen as we do the outros. I also want to say shout out and thanks to Noximus, who was pretty good, pretty neat, and his information is right there on the screen. Nox, let them know where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, that's right, baby. It's always pretty good, pretty neat over here at Noximus.
I love it. I love it.
We do the things that we do, baby, and I'm just leave everything the way it is because why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Dean, I got all your information right on the screen. They can find you, brother. It's always great to have Noximus here with us. And then I got my buddy here. He's you know, listen, it's funny. The first time I had him on the show, he's like, oh, Mooch, this was great. Really appreciate it. This and that. I said, well, listen, Hustle. Unfortunately for you, you're going to keep coming on the show. He's like, all right, man, that's fine. I don't mind. But, you know, he didn't realize I was going to rope him in for a contract deal. So, listen, Hustle, it's great to have you here. Your information's up there. So I did do this. Me and Hustle were talking behind the scenes. I did update his YouTube information, but I did not take down his Twitch information. So I apologize. I'm still promoting your Twitch and your YouTube, but nonetheless,
means he has to come on another episode, man. That's all.
It does. It takes another episode, another appearance for me to fix that. No, I'm only kidding. Hustle, great to have you tonight. Thank you for your insight, and let people know where they can find you.
Hey, I'm Hustle and Motivate. You can find me on YouTube at Hustle and Motivate. Same thing with the Twitch. Same thing. No, not Twitch, because I think we're done with that one.
Oh, man.
Twitter.
Break my heart.
Twitter. Yeah, I know. But on Twitter, you can find me at Hustle and Motivate. You can find me, Slow-Mo, Backslap, and possibly Gaming Forte every Saturday at 4 p.m. on the Ash and Lucas podcast known as the Scumcast. Hey, Mooch, man. As always, brother, thank you for the outlet, man. I know I may not talk as much because I try not to interrupt a lot of people, but it really means a lot to me that you give me the opportunity to speak and to have such a large audience and just to give, like, well, pretty much, I don't want to say I'm a nobody, but, you know, I'm an unknown, and you still give me the platform to speak, and I will always be forever grateful for that.
Hustle, listen, I can tell you one thing. The only thing I'll give myself one thing is I've been doing this for a long time, and when I get a chance to sit down, talk games, and hang out with somebody, I know when I hear talent, and I know you got it. So listen, I got to be honest with you. You're not a nobody. You are picking up steam like you have no idea, and I just appreciate you being a part of the show. And feel free to interrupt anyone, anytime. That's why it's Crossfire. You can yell whenever you want. Feel free. But Hustle, listen, we're going to have you back on after the Xbox Game Show because I got to hear your take on it.
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right. Thank you, Hustle. And then I got my buddy here, Brap, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Brap wants to play Warzone, and Warzone is what we will play this weekend. Enrique, it is awesome to have you here, buddy. Not just great on the panel. Thank you for those great super chats you always leave in there. They're funny, they're great, they're fantastic. But Brap, let people know where they can find you, buddy.
Absolutely, man. I just want to say it's been a blast. What a great show this evening. And yeah, you can find me on the YouTubes at Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself, Gaming Forte, Slow-Mo Backslap, E-Money, and I said E-Money, Eric Jackson, and B-Buddy. And always a pleasure, man. And looking forward to playing some Warzone this weekend, man. It's been way too long.
I'm ready to go, buddy. Honestly, it's been way too damn long. We'll probably stream a little bit too if we get a chance. But stay privy to Twitter.
Yeah, we were doing the Saturday streams, right?
I don't see why we should stop. To be honest with you,
do one tomorrow.
and it's done. There it is, folks. You've heard it. But stay privy to Brap and my Twitter for times. We'll get that worked out. Brap sounds like a plan to me. I got to be honest with you. This guy was just a superstar tonight. Forte, I know you came in and you were hearing us having our little sidebar chats before the show started. He was like, oh, God, not again. But here's the thing, Forte. It is outstanding to have your wisdom in the room. So, Forte, thank you so much for the work that you do. Everyone says that's a Southbound. Shout out to Southbound. Do. But nonetheless, thank you for being here tonight, man, and contributing to the podcast and informing people on the know that it's only you kind of get from your work, man. So thanks a lot, Forte, and let people know where they can find you.
Oh, man, it's always a great show, man. I kid around a lot, but, you know, every once in a while we got to go full nuclear in the podcast because of the stuff that's going on. But man, it's Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube and Twitter. So make sure you hit up those channels for a lot of good content. Outside of that, Basement Radio Podcast, Enrique already talked about it every Wednesday. We got the Primetime Gaming with Boom on Mondays at 8 p.m. And Ash and Luca, man, my heart, my best friend, the person that gave me the go on this whole journey. Every Saturday night, 4 p.m. Could be 1 p.m. Depends if you're getting their hair done or not.
Could be 10 p.m. You know, you never know.
Could be 10 p.m. But you guys know who she is, man. Just make sure you hit over there and check out that show if I'm there or not. And you guys have a great weekend.
Absolutely. I'll give a quick plug, too. Do check out Scumcast. I always promote it, always, every week. And that is the fact that Ash and Luca, she just puts on a great show. And she's my New York. She's the female Mooch. Been saying that since day one. So shout out to Luca. And then I've got my guy here, Xbot 448. And Xbot, you got to feel good. Not only did the front trees in your front yard not blow away tonight, but listen, Nobody got on your case. You had a very clean episode. This was great, right? It wasn't bad.
Well, dude, even if people get on my case, it's always great to spend my Friday night with you guys, man. That's
appreciate that, Xbox.
It's become tradition, and when it comes down to it, I look forward to every single Crossfire, man. That's why I'm in the middle of a tropical storm right now here with you guys. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
But yeah, check out my YouTube channel. It is Xbot448. It is the home of the next podcast, which is every Saturday, 7 p.m. like clockwork.
Yes.
7 p.m. is when we go live, man. It's gonna be an awesome show. Me, Crispy Bomb. We got K Mega. Of course, we got the ultra intelligent gamer in Predator as well. We have Dark Optimus. The only place where you can see Dark Optimus every week is on my channel. Like, who wouldn't want to come and check that out, man?
Dark Goldblum is great.
We got the gameplay. We got the beats. We have the entertaining podcast panel. Definitely check us out if you haven't done it yet. But always great to be here on Friday.
He never says Knox. He never says Knox.
He never
Knox,
says
He never says he has Knox on there, right? I thought I was part of the next podcast.
You are part of the family, man.
I was part of the family. You never say
don't
Knox.
say anything in the DM, either, bro. I don't know where you are. You left somewhere, and
I'm
you're
always in the cut,
back,
baby.
man.
I'm always in the cut, bro.
You can always find. You'll find him on Crossfire. Yo, I appreciate that. And then last but not least here, I want to give a shout out to Crap Gamer. Crap writes me, he goes, the house gets real loud when I got a lot of family over. So he's got a company over. Shout out to Crap Gamer. His information's up there, guys. It's at _Crap Gamer on Twitter, and on YouTube, it's Crap Gamer Reviews. He's doing all new kinds of content, over 10 minutes each video, all new game footage, all new topics. So do go over and check out Crap Gamer. And then last but not least, I'll put my information up there. You guys know how to find me right there on YouTube. Of course, the Mooch78. Please do hit the follow button. Please do hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. That's a lot of pleases. And also, we've got Twitch. I love Twitch. For some reason, I'm loving streaming. So we are going to, I don't know if you guys did tune in or not. I finished Bloodborne. I'm going to platinum it with the crew and with the entire chat on Twitch. We'll be doing that over the course of the weekend. And as Enrique just said, we'll also be doing some Warzone. That being said, guys, we will catch you next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy your weekend. Game a little. Have a barbecue. Have a couple of drinks. Get ready for Monday. And we'll see you next week. Peace out and good night.
Peace.